Friday night football at Darling Stadium on this 23rd of September 2016. Good evening from Darling Stadium here in Hampton. This is Frank Edgar along with Wube Gabray, and we are here for the Battle of Woodland Road. Kecoughtan comes into Darling to face the Phoebus Phantoms. Wube, should be a good ball game tonight.
Should be a battle of Woodland Road, so we should see a great matchup. Somewhat of a disappointing season for Kecoughtan so far with a 1-3 record, but when you deal with a rivalry game, you just never know what can happen.
And there's going to be some surprises tonight. We got new quarterbacks for both teams.
Two new quarterbacks, one for Kecoughtan, a quarterback who didn't play last week. Kecoughtan played two quarterbacks, and Ray John Jackson is going to start tonight, and Jeremiah Rogers for Phoebus is going to start for the to replace the other quarterback, McNair, for Phoebus.
So it should be a really good matchup tonight. Kecoughtan comes in 1-3. We watched them last week against the Bethel Bruins. What do you think? What do they need to do?
Need to stop Daniel Wright at running back, and we're not really sure about Rogers. He's a new quarterback. Coach Blunt said he played in the scrimmages, so he's used to this, and he's a junior. So I guess they're preparing him for next year. But you know, the Phoebus defense always comes to play, so they're gonna have to put up points to hang with Phoebus tonight.
And what do we expect out of Kecoughtan? You know, Coach Coley, a veteran coach, guy who coached at Phoebus, won several rings with the Phoebus Phantoms. What do you think he's going to bring tonight?
Well, he knows the system. He knows the program. The only problem is he has to stop. He has to stop Wright, and he has to stop to get the defense rolling. But it's going to be tough, and we'll see what happens. He's got new quarterbacks. He's not really sure what they're going to bring with him, but it should be a great game.
Well, let's pause a minute. We'll go to the field for the national anthem. Well, the Marching Phantoms give us our national anthem, and the colors presented tonight by the Marine Corps ROTC over there at Phoebus High School. We saw one of the young men come up tonight. Good-looking group over there at Phoebus, and we're thrilled to have them here tonight. This is our first time seeing the Phoebus Phantoms. What do you think, Wube? What are we going to see?
It is our first time, and we mentioned this off camera, how no matter what year Phoebus played, it's going to be the same system. So I'm not saying it's going to be the same result, but you know what you're going to get out of Phoebus. Hard-nosed defense, great running game, and a few play-action fakes here and there to sprinkle in.
Well, we got to talk to Coach Jeremy Blunt over at Phoebus earlier this week. We got to talk to him tonight. I asked him that question. He says he thinks he's got the pieces to fill those positions that we've come to know with Phoebus, in particular the running back position. He's very high on his running backs.
Yeah, Daniel Wright, he's really high on him. He's a junior, and again, he alluded to earlier how young his team is, and his best classes are 18 and 19, class 18 and 19. So, you know, with his young team, he sprinkles a lot of seniors also, and there was some senior leadership with Shador's Horn and the McNair. So he has a nice mix of young players and veteran players as well in this team.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing this young quarterback for the Phoebus Phantoms, Jeremiah Rogers. He's listed 6'3", 180, but you and I saw him over the field. This is the inverse of what you see with basketball, where people are listed taller. Rogers at least 6'4".
I think he's at least 6'4", maybe even 6'5". He's a tall, lanky kid. Again, he played in the scrimmages earlier in the year, and he's a junior. So, you know, with the injury to McNair, this gives him a lot of chances to get his feet wet under this year and see what he can do against a good Kecoughtan defense.
Well, I think this tallest quarterback we've seen this year.
I think
maybe
so.
one of the tallest in the whole Peninsula District. So we'll see what he can do over top of these lines. Speaking of the lines, we've seen good line play last week. We did see good line play out of Kecoughtan last week. In particular, George Mitchell we thought was superb.
The young sophomore, George Mitchell, was really impressive last week. Kecoughtan's always had a pretty decent size line. Just a matter of their youth and their ability to take on a good defensive front like Phoebus. They're always stout up front. They're always quick. So it'll be a good challenge for Kecoughtan tonight.
Well, we're going to see they're going to have to be at their best because Phoebus brings in a very tough offensive line and a very strong defensive linebacking core. I was thinking Peyton Ryder, who seems like he's been at Phoebus a few years. He's now a junior. Really a surprise a couple of years ago. Is such a good athlete. He's a fullback. He's a linebacker mainly now. But you get a guy like him, he's not going to be surprised at all to Coach Coley.
He's not going to be surprised by anything. Him and Horn at the linebacker position have been around for the last 2 or 3 years, so they understand. They've seen it all as Phoebus football players, so they know what to expect tonight.
And Coach Blunt, of course, very high on Jonathan Gregory at cornerback.
Jonathan Gregory, the strong safety, number 21. He's been a 2-year starter, so he's a captain in the backfield.
All right, here are the officials of the game. This is a Peninsula District crew tonight. The referee, Todd Tucker. The umpire, Will Gibbs. Head linesman, Mark Fry. The line judge, Tony Krug. Side judge, Brian Davis. The field judge, Phil Grawley. The back judge, Tony Brown. And on the clock, our friend Herman Drone right down the table from us.
That's right.
And they're out now getting ready to welcome the captains, and we'll see them. Excellent camera work provided by Steve Fryer, Susan Bowers, and Braxton.
Braxton, that's right.
Yeah. One thing about the camera work with the high definition TV, and I hope all of you fans get the chance to catch it on high def. We do broadcast these games on YouTube now, and they're on high definition on YouTube. So, folks, if you're missing the game, the nice thing about being on YouTube is you can catch the games now anytime you want from the convenience of your couch.
Phoebus has won the toss.
Bring your
They
laptop.
defer to the second half.
And they look great. The pictures look
Really
great
do.
on there, too.
Well, Phoebus has won the toss. They're going to defer. So Kecoughtan, no doubt, will take the ball here in the first half. They're going to defend the west goal. Phoebus defend the
Kecoughtan
east.
will
Phoebus in those
receive.
hard-to-read all-black jerseys. A brand-new set of jerseys for the Phantoms. This is a great challenge for us tonight.
Well, all the coaches asked us if we liked the new jerseys, and what was the one comment you made?
I said I would be glad to take a yellow highlighter and highlight those numbers for Phoebus. No charge at all.
Absolutely. And then the one thing about that, their away jerseys are the same way, except they're white. But
the white numbers,
right.
yes. Yeah, I'll find. We're going to find out who picked these colors. We'll take care of this. No, I think Coach Blunt likes them. And I know the Phantoms are excited to get out there. We got a good matchup tonight. Kecoughtan and Phoebus. We got another matchup, though. Some of our friends. Rob Robinson. Pretty much to me, the personification of Phoebus football spirit of the last 20 years. Rob still helping out over the Phantoms. His brother Chaz Robinson, who I will say on air, probably a little better football player than Rob, had a great career down at St. Augustine.
Great career. And and even Robinson, he said that Chaz has more championships than him at Phoebus.
That's right. 3-2, I think
so if it's 3-2 and he has more championships, and I guess he's a better player, right?
And Chaz has helped out over this year at Kecoughtan. So it's great to have the Robinson brothers in the league. They've been great components of Peninsula District football their whole lives.
Absolutely.
It's great to see Rob tonight. We go to the field now. Phoebus is going to kick off.
Get a chance to see the young quarterback for Kecoughtan, Rajon Jackson.
And we see Zeke Jones and Keith Grandy back for the Warriors. We've seen them all last Friday night.
Like a swift kick. Picked up by Singleton. That's Melvin, number 12 of Kecoughtan.
Looks like an unintentional squib kick. And Kecoughtan's going to get great field position here to begin the game on a beautiful Friday night. We call in Hampton this we've had a week of rain. So as Wube and I pulled in tonight, we saw a dove fly by with an olive branch. We were pleased to see that. The field seems to be in really good condition.
They do a great job with the field.
Well, Beth Mayer and her crew have done a tremendous job year after year, and it looks beautiful this fall. Well, here comes Kecoughtan to the line. Phoebus setting his defense. Extra ball in the backfield there as they wait to get this game started. Who's under center there, Wube?
Jackson, Rajon Jackson, the sophomore, hands off to Melvin. Melvin, And he is decked at the line of scrimmage by number 7, Darryl Bryant,
Well, it
the
looks
junior
like
outside linebacker.
Melvin's first carry of the night was not a pleasant one. He dropped about a yard.
Now, a lot of the fans might remember Melvin as the quarterback last week, Frank. Now he's at the running back position.
And Rajon Jackson gets to start, the sophomore. What a opportunity for this young man.
Loss of 1 on the play. It's 2nd and 11 for Kecoughtan. Melvin in the backfield. Skylar Wilson, the fullback. Jackson goes back to pass. He is sacked by number 5, Shadarius Horn, another one of those linebackers we talked about earlier, Frank.
Well, and they're all over the quarterback that time. No chance at all for Jackson to even throw his first pass. 3rd and long now for the Warriors. They're going the wrong way here to start the game.
You see Phoebus bringing a lot of different personnel in on this 3rd and long.
I think you actually see the numbers better on the television set than you do in real life.
That's
here.
Right. 3rd and 17, Frank, at the 36. Jackson goes in shotgun.
Man-to-man coverage, yeah.
Yep. Melvin hands off to, Jackson hands off to Melvin. It's like a little draw play, and he's tackled by 32, Marcus Tate.
Dropped a couple of yards that time. Phoebus Phantom defense looks good. The Warriors are going to have to punt. Grandy, the great ball handler and playmaker for the Warriors, now the punter.
Interesting play call on that 3rd and 17. Andre Jackson is deep back for Phoebus. He's the playmaker, as Coach Blunt talked about this week. They want to get the ball in his hands as much as possible. Grandy, low snap, gets it, punts it. Takes a bounce out of bounds. It looks like at around the 45-yard line. No return.
Wow, good spot for the Phantoms. They get a generous spot to the 47. So we'll see the Phantom offense come running out. Zymir Rogers gets his start here in the regular season, his first start. You'll see him, very tall, wears the numeral 19. His running back to start the game at least looks like
they're going to run a
they're going to go no running back, yeah. That was Damian Charity going to the far side, number 11.
Nobody. Rogers in the shotgun. The handoff to number 11.
That's Charity with the
Charity
ball.
with the ball. He's a safety. He's also a receiver, and he takes a big hit, but he gets more than enough for the first down.
Avery Singleton on the tackle for the Warriors, but enough for the first down for the Phantoms. Charity had come in. I thought he was going to stop in the backfield, moved on to the wide out position on the right side of the line, and came across the underneath handoff and picked up 12 on the run.
Good way to get this young quarterback at ease a little bit early.
And a few yards tacked on.
Interesting. No Daniel Wright to start off.
Illegal helmet contact on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
A 15-yard penalty on the Warriors. Their first penalty tonight. And now Phoebus with their second play of this drive.
It's
picked
fun.
up 27 yards on that first play.
Kecoughtan probably scouted Daniel Wright all week, and then they don't see him in the first 2 plays. A different little wrinkle for Phoebus. Rogers looking at his wristband for looks like a different play call.
The 5 receivers out.
Oh. Flags everywhere, Frank.
That time the right tackle jumped.
All start
like
on the offense.
number 70, Donovan
5-yard
Cooper.
penalty, still first down.
Another one of those.
He wasn't the only one, but I think he's the one they caught.
Another one of those young offensive linemen they really love over at Phoebus.
Where the line is strong, it's big. Offensive line, Battle Patterson, Walters, Saylor, Cooper, and Wilson for the Phantoms. Zymir Rogers brings his team to the line. Still nobody in the backfield.
Nobody. Rogers in shotgun. He passes. It's complete. That's DeQuadre Edwards. He's a transfer from Kecoughtan, number 8.
Picks up 8 yards on the pass. Very nearly could have been picked off if they knew it was coming. The ball right through one of the defenders. I don't think the defender knew it was coming.
Well, Rogers was looking.
Here's your Phoebus offense. Zymir Rogers gets the start at quarterback, then Wright at running back. We haven't seen him yet. We will. Jackson at one wide receiver, Edwards at the other. Holloway the fullback, and when they go to that running set, you'll see a lot of Jalen Holloway. Then Jackson the tight end, and Walters, Battle Patterson, Saylor Cooper, the specialists there, Sharp and Gregory.
Oh, mishandled, but it's Bryce. Looks like it's number 20, Bryce Bailey on the handoff. He throws the ball down, a flag comes out.
So he just
called unsportsmanlike. Just cost his team 15 yards, Frank.
Picked up 10 yards. He's going to give some back by spiking the ball. Very quick. Here's the starting defense for the Warriors. Marshall, Harris, Thompson, Hubbard up front. The linebackers Wilson, Persinger, Newsom, and Nixon, Tucker, and Grandy and Etheridge to the corners. Nixon, the guy we were impressed with last week, his
first down
insertion in the offense in the second half really helped the Warriors put 14 on the Bruins there. They had a tough loss, but they were able to rally there into the third quarter with Nixon leading the charge.
Coach Coley had to feel pretty good about that. Like 1st and 10, it was a delay of game, not a unsportsmanlike on that last play by Bryce. So now we finally see Daniel Wright in the backfield.
With Holloway in front of him. And Holloway, like all Phoebus fullbacks in front of him, very key to this offense. Watch number 40 in the fullback spot.
Rogers, like Jackson in motion. Fakes to right. It goes to number 2, Andre Jackson.
Kind of in the round again. That time it didn't work, and I was watching Holloway. I do take my own advice. I watched Holloway, and he was up in there and had the block. But they tried to pull something a little tricky, and it cost him a couple of yards.
Surprised with the play calling of Phoebus so far, Frank?
I am surprised. I think Coach Blunt probably trying to show some of the unexpected features of his team. Remember, the Daily Press said that Phoebus at 4-0, flying under the radar this year. That always draws a smile from Coach Blunt.
I think he likes that. Another flag as Phoebus tried to run a play. 2nd and 12.
Yeah, at least Daniel Wright touched the ball that time, but he.
False start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
False start on Phoebus, so that'll push him back 5 yards.
That's 2 penalties on the Phantoms. Lost him 10 yards so far. 7:15 left in the first quarter. Phoebus with their first possession. At 27 yards as a result of the penalty on the first play. Not done much since.
Rogers with Wright, Holloway behind him. Draw play to Daniel Wright. He gets a good gain, and he gets it inside. It looks like it's almost at the 10-yard line.
Well, finally brought down there by Kecoughtan's number 24, John Tucker, and number 1, Zeke Jones. Jones is going to be all over the place from his safety spot.
Wright reminds me of some of the other running backs Phoebus has had in this program, like Elon Lewis, and has a style like that. Hurry up offense from Phoebus. It's like 3rd and 1 at the 10. Rogers to Holloway, the fullback, and he goes up the middle and he scores. Touchdown, Phoebus.
No surprise there. Holloway just takes the handoff and finds what was a gaping hole in the line. Good work by the offensive lineman of the Phantoms, able to open that up for the fullback, and he takes it in the end zone.
That's why I asked you, were you surprised by the play calling? Because that was pretty easy up the middle.
So Holloway puts the Phantoms on the board here with 6:24 left in the first.
Cade Sharp's going to try the extra point, number 95. Snap is up. Oh, and it's no good. It was
a high snap brought down by the holder, but obviously wasn't positioned right, or the kick wasn't angled right. Didn't get it. So Phantoms settled for 6 on a disjointed first drive, but certainly one where they showed what we expected, the Daniel Wright and the Jalen Holloway combination in the backfield. They had no trouble at all.
When you have a fullback, and we've seen this throughout the season, when you have a fullback such as a Jalen Holloway or a Peyton Ryder when he comes in.
Chaz Robinson probably
from Phoebus. The Phoebus has always had that fullback and that good running back and the great stout offensive line. That's the recipe for success.
That was Peyton Ryder there, number 42 for the Phantoms. As a freshman, we saw him in the fullback open up for Jamari Becknell, right? And led Becknell to, I think, near 200 yards that night.
And he has a brother on the roster as well, a freshman. He's a little bigger than Peyton. Blake Ryder, 6'1", 280. He's going to be the center for the future.
The Phantoms to kick off from their own 40, leading 6-0 here. Crowd still filling in here at Darling. It's a beautiful night to be outside after a rainy week here in Hampton.
Sharp to kick. Little pooch kick is like Kecoughtan. Is that?
I think that's Zeke.
Is that Zeke Jones? Zeke Jones,
Zeke
number 1.
Ran into the back of the crowd there and
Zeke
knocked
Jones,
down. Still good starting position for the Warriors at their own 34. And yes, you at home will know that the teams always seem to start on the even yard line when they want to kick off or punt return.
Right.
That time ran into the line right at the 35, but fell backwards. Marked at the 34, 1st and 10 for Kecoughtan.
So we got another look at Rajon Jackson, Frank, the sophomore. Did not play last week, but he gets to start tonight for Kecoughtan.
And they have Nixon now at fullback for the Warriors, Karan Nixon.
Fake to Melvin. Jackson. Pass is incomplete, intended for number 7, Karan.
And Nixon, and the flag dropped there. It may have been a hold on the receiver, Nixon. He had some spacing. Let's see what the call is. Oh, illegal man downfield. Here's the starting lineup for Kecoughtan at quarterback Rajon Jackson, one running back Jonathan Melvin. We've seen Nathan Persinger as a receiver. We've seen him now as a listed running back, but Karan Nixon in now. Then you got Etheridge, Mitchell, Hubbard, Thompson, and Harrison and Thomas. We're going to talk a lot about George Mitchell tonight. Center wears number 55, our player of the game last week.
He was all over the place last week.
Even when he fell down, he tackled a 300-pound running back for Bethel.
Receiver downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
And what's the one thing we said last week that they couldn't do?
Can't have penalties, and you can never have penalties against the Phoebus Phantoms. 2 penalties now for Kecoughtan, 20 yards lost.
Jackson in the shotgun. Grandy in the backfield. There's another penalty flag, Frank.
Doesn't look like a game from the 5th week of the season. The timeout?
Like a timeout.
Oh, there we go.
Timeout, Kecoughtan.
Well, Coach Alonzo Coley, of course, a veteran of the Phoebus High School program, has been at Kecoughtan now, I believe, in his 5th year. We've enjoyed visiting with him last week. He's got a lot of young players. We mentioned in last week's broadcast, he lost 4 or 5 to college football, and that's a tough loss for any program.
Well, when you lose when you lose 4 players that go to college, that's one thing. But when you lose your quarterback that's been a starter for 4 years, lose a running back that was all district, and you lose Tyler Chris, who was a defensive end and a fullback at William & Mary now, but he actually played tight end. It's a lot to ask to replace.
It is.
And you bring in a young quarterback with a young offensive line and a young defense. You know, it's going to take a little time for them to get back to where they were.
Well, the thing we like to see, we mentioned to both coaches last week, we didn't get a chance to mention it this week, is that you no longer have to win all but one game to get in the playoffs. So they're really playing downhill towards the playoffs, and you gotta try to pick up momentum and play better.
And they were 4-6 last year, and they got in and got a first-round upset. So, shotgun to Jackson, and it's incomplete, intended for Persinger. Looked like a little confusion on that snap.
Real quick snap. Not a great throw, though. That's a couple he's overthrown now.
I don't know if he was trying to get Phoebus to jump or catch him off guard, but it was quick, very quick.
So 2nd and 15 now for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Here's a defensive line for Phoebus. Jackson, Bryant, Walters, and Battle Patterson up front, along with Marcus Tate, Peyton Ryder, Horn, the linebackers, Pope, Charity, Jackson, and Gregory. And Jonathan Gregory is one to keep your eye on, number 21 for the
Strong
Phantoms.
Safety, the senior. He's going to be a ball hawk in the backfield. And it was a run by Melvin. He's tackled by Peyton Ryder, the junior linebacker.
Well, nothing much there for Melvin. Picked up a yard on a play that I thought was going to at least pick up 5. Good reaction by the linebacker, Peyton Ryder.
3rd and 14 now. Ball is on the 29-yard line of Kecoughtan.
Peyton Ryder, 5'10", 208-pounder. Just an athlete in a perfect spot here as a linebacker in high school. Very, very quick.
Good baseball player as well. Jackson in the shotgun. Grandy's in the backfield. He looks that way, then goes the opposite way, and it is incomplete. Intended for number 6, Skylar Wilson. He's the tight end.
And almost picked off there, I believe it was number 5, Shadarius Horn, that had it thrown towards his hands. Kind of surprised him. So 4th down and 14 for the Warriors, and we're going to see Grandy punt again. This is not how you want to get the ball in the hands of Keith Grandy. You don't want him having to snap it to him so he can punt it.
Exactly.
Coach Coley's going to have to figure out a way to get it to his star, Keith Grandy.
Like number 2 is deep back for Phoebus. It's Andre Jackson. Grandy is the punter.
Good punt, a lot of hang time.
And it takes a Phoebus Kecoughtan bounce and goes out of bounds
Right
around the 43-yard line.
They spotted at the 44, 1st and 10 for the Phantoms. Phantoms lead at 6-0 here with 5:17 left in the first quarter. You know, one thing we talked to Coach Coley about is he wanted to see more enthusiasm for his players. And so far, so good. I've seen some good team play. They just haven't been able to do anything, but they had a slow start last week. And he's got a brand new quarterback, so you got to give him a few series to get warmed up.
Well, as a coach, that's what you want. You want to see your team come in fired up. At least that gives them a good start. Now Rogers under center now with Wright in the backfield. Handoff is to Wright. He is stopped in the backfield.
That's a great play by Kecoughtan's number 88. And that is Xavier Marshall, because Holloway, the fullback, had started in a tight end spot and held his block as he does all the time. And yet it was Marshall that was able to push the running back right in the backside of his fullback and bring him down to hold him to no gain.
Sound like a broken record, but he's also a sophomore. They have a lot of young players on Kecoughtan this year. Jackson. Daniel Wright gets a good run.
A good defense by the Warriors. They're starting to read this a little better. That's number 2, Avery Singleton, with the tackle. Correction, it may have been number 7, Karan Nixon. And Nixon is so important to this Warrior team. Yes. You'll see Nixon come out. There he is. Stocky young man. He played running back for a couple of seasons. Yeah.
Rogers under center with Holloway, the fullback. Daniel Wright fakes to Wright. He's going to throw it, and it is complete. The number 10, Corey Jackson. He's still on his feet as he breaks the tackle, and he gets into Kecoughtan territory.
That's a real good throw by Rogers. We watched him warm up on the sidelines, and you know he almost throwing down from his height at least in the drill we saw. That time able to get that ball over the line and in the hands, but he still throws it on a rope. 1st and 10 now for the Phantoms.
There's good pass and catch for the junior quarterback. Rogers under center. Holloway and Wright behind him. Handoff to Wright. Good block. And he gets a crease, and he is tackled at the 20-yard line by number 24, John Tucker.
Well, Daniel Austin for Kecoughtan saw the hole, went right to it, and that's where you see Jalen Holloway. What a superb block. Watch the fullback. You may be even hear it on the replay.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Right on Skylar Wilson, yeah.
And there goes Daniel, who's going to have to buy his fullback a steak dinner already.
Yeah, for sure. After that block, yes, sir.
Another 1st down for the Phantoms as they move towards the end zone.
Nobody in the backfield this time. Jackson goes in motion. Hands off to Jackson. He's got some blocks, and he cuts it inside. Oh, good move by Jackson, and he's going to score. Touchdown, Andre Jackson and Phoebus.
What a nice play out there. That was 21, Diego Boykin. We tried to seal him off in the corner and could not do it.
And Jackson is the playmaker that Coach Blunt talked about this week, Frank, that he wanted to get him involved early so he can get some momentum for the Phantoms.
Jackson's 5'10", 170-pounder, senior.
Seen a lot of those receivers go in motion.
We have, tonight. And I think mainly just to get them the ball. I think we'll see Kecoughtan come back with the same kind of offenses to try to get Randy involved. He was going to go for 2 here. As they missed the extra point on the first touchdown, they're going to try to level it at 14 here by going for 2.
Rogers under center. Wright in the backfield. Daniel Wright gets the handoff, and he is in for 2. Pretty simple, Frank.
Very simple. Very simple play. That time the line holds their blocks. Right goes to the left side, and they will slip in underneath, land in the end zone, putting 2 on the board now. 14-0 Phantoms. Nothing, no surprise on that drive.
It's Phantoms football. It's what we've been seeing for the last 20 years. You see Jackson, the touchdown here. Jackson went in motion. He goes far side, gets a good block and a good cut, and he is in there, Frank.
Boykin had 2 men blocking there. So good teamwork by the Phantoms to lead to the touchdowns. 14-0 here with 3:16 to go in the first. Kecoughtan is, of course, got to be a little patient with a young quarterback, but they're quickly falling behind. They need to come up with something here on this drive. Sharp teeing it up for the Phantoms.
Like Zeke Jones and Grandy deep back for Kecoughtan. If they get lucky to get the ball that way, it looks like they're going to probably swift kick it. And this time they do kick it deep.
They do. They kick it
it's,
to Grandy.
Keith Grandy, which is a mistake. We saw what happened last week. He had some blocks, but he breaks a couple. Looks like the kicker Sharp tackles him on that play.
Kicker Sharp he went for the ball. That was a great play by Grandy. If you notice, he and who was the other one? Was it Zeke Jones in the back?
Jones, yeah.
The 2 of them stayed together right until the kicker started his run towards the ball and then split up.
Split up, right.
Ends up kicking it right to Grandy, and Grandy is worth 20 yards every time he touches the ball. That time right up to the 46. And the Warriors, with their 3rd possession, have their third great field position.
You have to capitalize on this.
Mitchell, our player of the game last week, the center for the Warriors. Razon Jackson
in the shotgun. Grandy once again in the backfield. He's going to pass. Another flag.
That time, the receiver, number 11 for Kecoughtan, John Tucker Jr., about 2 yards downfield before the ball was snapped.
False start on the offense.
More penalties.
5-yard penalty.
3rd penalty against Kecoughtan. It cost them 25 yards so far, which is more than they've gone forward so far. This is what happens when you have a young team facing a veteran program. And as we heard from Coach Coley last week, he is looking to work on that program he started at Kecoughtan, and he's got a challenge, as do all programs, when they lose a lot of players to the next level.
Absolutely.
And he's finding some pieces. He's going to see who can play tonight.
Jackson shotgun. Going to pass, and it is almost intercepted, Frank. It's incomplete. You can take your pick on who tried to get that interception. First, I think it was Gregory. Then Charity came over there to help him out, and the ball fell down.
Yep, I think Charity was the one most upset at himself for not being able to pick that off. Jackson a little high with a pass again.
Like he's telegraphing a little bit. The 2nd and 15 from the 41 for Kecoughtan. They had great field position. Just penalties have pushed him back. And I like how they have Grandy in the backfield, though. They're trying to get him involved the best way possible. Jackson's in shotgun. Gives it to Grandy in the backfield. He's trying to find some room, but no room at all in that middle for Phoebus and the Phoebus defense. And it's like DeQuandre Edwards, the Kecoughtan transfer with the tackle.
Well, Grandy found room where there was none. And he had a Phoebus Phantom player behind him, chasing him down, but able to slip up over the 40, back to the 42. Still 3rd and very long for the Warriors. We'll see how aggressive Coach Coley wants to go right here. He's going to have to open it up a little bit, try to get some of these linebackers off the line.
3rd and 14 from the 42. Jackson, Grandy and Melvin in the backfield. He's looking towards Melvin. He sees Persinger, and that's picked off by Gregory. Gregory has room, and he has blockers. He's at the 40, the 35, the 30, and he is upended by the quarterback, Jackson, but not before a great return by the senior.
Well, I'm stunned. I'm stunned there's no pass interference. That was a flat-out hold down the line there on Persinger, and there's no way he could get to the ball. You'll see it here at the bottom of your screen. Persinger comes out. He's right off screen now, but you see the hold right there by Ryder.
Yeah, he had his hand on him.
He had 2 hands and a foot on him, and able to hold him up and allow Gregory, who we've been looking at all all night.
And that's his 8th interception, Frank, this year. Taking 2 to the house. Great, strong safety.
And did we mention this is only the 5th game for the Phantoms?
Exactly. Rogers back under center. Phoebus in great field position. Holloway right behind him, and another flag.
That time on the Phantoms, somebody on the line moved. That's going to cost the Phantoms 5, their 3rd 5-yard penalty.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
I imagine when Coach Coley sees that at halftime, he will not be happy on the hold on Persinger. That was probably the best pass that Jackson had thrown.
It was a good pass. It looked like Persinger was double teamed, but it was his best pass. Rogers under center. Gives to Wright. Wright has another big hole as he goes far side. Oh, nice tackle. And he breaks a tackle. And he fumbles the ball. It is picked up by Kecoughtan, it looks like, Frank.
Right, trying to get a little extra that time, and it cost him. He had a 20-yard run and gave it already at the end. That was Boykin again, Diego Boykin, who was laid the wood on him and couldn't bring him down, but it slowed him up enough.
And Teray Newsome fell on the ball to get the fumble.
So Kecoughtan stops the drive with the fumble on Daniel Wright. He's going to speak to his coach on the way out. Upset at himself, but tough play. So 1st and 10 for Kecoughtan, deep in their own territory.
What a look at this. He breaks 1, he breaks 2, he breaks 3, and finally he fumbles it.
That's Singleton that caused the fumble there. I thought I saw the numeral 2.
Teray Newsome recovered the fumble. But I think you're right. I think Singleton caused the fumble.
Second time out taken by Kecoughtan. Is they're going to get straight here? They're deep in their own territory, but they did stop the drive.
They got a turnover. And that's a big step for Kecoughtan to stop momentum on this drive because Phoebus was moving the ball at great field position after the punt.
Well, we've seen Boykin a couple times out on the outside taking some big blocks, but that time he hit Daniel Wright, was able to get him at least stumbling. And then his teammates, and I think it was Singleton, came over there and popped him right in as he was on his way down and knocked that ball loose. Well, Kecoughtan over talking with their coach, trying to figure out what they can do to get out of this little bit of hole here. They got some light.
The only problem is they're deep in their own territory, and this is when Phoebus's defense might bring a blitz to discourage the young quarterback a little.
Well, let's see if they can get the ball to Keith Grandy.
Nobody in the backfield.
4 receivers out here, the near side.
To Grandy, he has some blocks, and he is going backwards, and he's tackled in the backfield by Peyton Ryder, number 42.
Great play by Ryder.
Another flag.
Let's see who the flag is. Right up there at the line of scrimmage.
Like a chop block against Kecoughtan.
Bad news either way. See if Phoebus takes the penalty. They may not.
It'll push them back to close to the goal line, Frank.
Blocking below the waist on the offense, decline, 2nd down.
They're going to decline the penalty, so they'll stay at the 8-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 8.
Actually, he lost 4 yards, so 3 yards on that play. 2nd and almost 14.
2nd and 14, you're right.
So Kecoughtan a little deeper in their own territory, now looking for something on offense to get moving forward. Is on Jackson, the sophomore. Tough spot right here.
Jackson gives it like he gives it to who is that, Frank? That's Melvin
yeah.
on the carry.
Well, a good play that time, and very patient was Melvin. He let the rushers go past. I mean, he almost trapped all 4 of them up front, and he was able to slip by and pick up a few yards. That's the first run of that length tonight for the Warriors.
A good look at the senior safety, Jonathan Gregory.
One we're going to be seeing on Saturday, I'm told.
Oh, sure.
That time, Ryder blocked by his own man.
A lot of them were following Jackson, the quarterback. It's 3rd and 4 now from the 15. Grandy again in the backfield with Melvin. Persinger near side. It was intended for Grandy. He bobbled it. I think he saw Peyton Ryder and said,
But it was also a little bit behind him, and it was also going to where everybody in the stands knew it was going to be thrown to. He stared him down, and Ryder knew it was coming.
Now it brings up 4th and 4 from the 14.
Jackson, again, just a sophomore, getting his first start on the year, 6'4", 160-pounder, so a tall young man.
Kecoughtan has 3 young quarterbacks, so they've been, I guess, trying to figure out who's going to give him the most effort.
They didn't have 4 preseason games like the NFL does, where you can really work this stuff out. You got to work it out during the regular season. Grandy to punt.
Grandy at the 1. High snap. Gets the punt off. Again, it goes to Jackson. Jackson looks at it and decides not to take it. It's going to stop at the 45-yard line of the Kecoughtan Warriors with 15 seconds left in the first quarter. 14-0 Phoebus.
Good punt by Grandy. At least get the Phantoms away from the end zone. Almost out to midfield. Seen Ryder putting up some good blocks. That time thought he had a man behind him and blocked one of the Warriors into the sideline. As good as Ryder was at fullback, Holloway has been the fullback since that sophomore year.
Holloway plays some defensive tackle as well. 1st and 10 from the 46 for Phoebus. Daniel Wright in the backfield with Holloway. Going to pass. It is incomplete, intended for Edwards.
And just thrown behind him again, Avery Singleton, who's all over the place for the Warriors back there on the coverage.
And again, this is Rogers' first start of the season. He did play in preseason, a couple of scrimmages, but this is a lot different than an organized scrimmage.
We got 2 young 6'4" tall quarterbacks tonight. One's got a little more veteran presence around him.
Like Bryce Bailey is in the backfield now for Phoebus. Goes to Bailey, and he is smacked behind the line of scrimmage. Great tackle by number 7, Karan Nixon.
And Nixon is the one that can really bring it for the Warriors. We saw it last week when he got involved in the offense. They turned it around. That time from his linebacker spot, able to make the tackle. Well, that's going to do it for the first quarter here at Darling on what is a gorgeous night. The first such night we've had all week. We watched this replay. And we watch Karan Nixon flatten the Phoebus tailback. But the Warriors trail it 14-0. Ube, what does Kecoughtan have to do here in the second quarter to get back in this game?
They got a turnover, which was very encouraging. They just have to just like you said, settle down. The young quarterback needs to settle down. A couple of his passes were high, and you could tell he was a little nervous. The running game seems to be working with Grandy in the backfield, but they just have to just stay calm and just maintain what they've been, been practicing all week, and hopefully break one long run.
Well, and the nice thing about Kecoughtan is tough a year as it's been so far. They got a veteran coach and a veteran coaching staff. And he's going to work with these chess pieces for a while till he gets the set he needs to win the game. And I think, again, we're still early in the season on this new playoff format. He can put together a string of 3 or 4 wins toward the end of the year. He can make the playoffs.
Absolutely. I can't see why they can't do that.
Now we watch the Phantoms with the familiar lineup. That looks like
it's Bryce Bailey in the backfield with Holloway. Rogers. Fakes to Bailey. He's going to pass. He pumps. He looks again and is incomplete. Intended for Edwards.
Little bounce pass there. Wouldn't have gotten much anyway.
No, he wouldn't have got much at all.
But that was the receiver. Good coverage out there by the Warriors.
Yes, it was.
Stop that because he had time.
Looks like it's a punting situation. Looks like Phoebus is going to call a timeout here.
Yeah, here it comes. The indicator. Timeout on the Phantoms. So Phoebus going to talk it over here with a 4th and about 12. 14-0 lead. What do you think Coach Blunt's talking about down there?
They might be possibly thinking about a fake punt just to keep the momentum on their side. But and there's Mark Hudson, the principal of Phoebus High. Was my daughter's principal in middle school at Eaton. And he goes over to
down there.
Phoebus. So it's your first time seeing Phoebus. What are your initial thoughts?
The system looks familiar. The pieces are still a little. They have some work to do. The quarterback position is going to be an interesting spot with McNair out, and I was looking forward to seeing him tonight. Just not able to go this evening, but with McNair in there, what would we see? We've seen Rogers come in and do a good job, and what a great backup to have, a 6'4" quarterback backup.
Looks like Phoebus is going to go for it, Frank, on 4th and 12 from the 48.
Bailey in the backfield.
Bailey in the backfield. Edwards the near side. Going to go to pass. He's looking to Edwards. The pocket collapses. He escapes the sack, and he has a chance to get a first down. And it looks like he got it, Frank.
Yeah, that's having an athlete at quarterback really helps you right there.
It was pass all the way. Looks like he was looking at Edwards on the near side.
I'm not sure that wasn't the second alternative right there, because he looked and waited till Kecoughtan dropped back. And he's, again, 6'4", very athletic young man. See him look, and then he'd step up and go.
And Kecoughtan was in somewhat of a prevent defense.
So Kecoughtan surrenders the first down.
It's like Rogers, Wright's in the backfield. Wright gets the handoff, breaks a couple tackles, but he's brought down by number 12, Jonathan Melvin, the linebacker.
Rogers had the ball out there and waiting about 5 minutes before his running backs came and got it.
Would have been a good fake if he would have kept it, but
watch our friend George Mitchell. He'd run by and grab it.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7 from the 34.
Mitchell, the nose tackle there. You see him. There he is, number 55.
Had a great game last week.
That's a guy they got to run around, though. They can't go right up the middle with him.
Right, single setback. Goes to right near side. He has some blocks. He's up the middle, and he is going to score, Frank.
And
31-yard touchdown run by Daniel Wright, the junior running back.
Great block on the right side to free up Wright. One thing I like about Wright is he can find the hole very well. That time found it on the right side. It was a great block standing up the end there for the Kecoughtan end and opening up just a little gap, and Wright shoots through.
And like you said, nothing different from the past 20 years, just running the ball.
Daniel Wright gets his score tonight as our intern.
Volleyball player at Kecoughtan. Alan Beaver.
So on the kick, Gage Sharp. It looks like he missed it wide left. He did.
Another one.
The snap good, hold good, but he kicked it out. There's some of the Phantom players saying we're up 20-0. And we see Steve Fryer, our sideline cameraman. Good shots. 20-0 here with 10:37 to go. Here's the play. Watch right here at the right end.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say that's.
And you have receivers blocking as well.
Was that Rakeem Saylor maybe out there, number 60? Hard to see with those uniforms, but it looked like Saylor on the end, able to get the seal block.
He's the senior, 6'2", 270.
That time he held the whole Kecoughtan Tide inside and let his running back go outside for the score. So Kecoughtan's going to get the ball back here. They trail it 20-0.
Phoebus again, just using that dominant running game.
You know, we were talking to Coach Coley, and he did had a couple of injuries the week before last, and had a couple more last week. So he's put in some pieces here, and he's just going to have to work through it. He's got some veterans, Grandy and Nixon in particular, I think, can really add some offensive firepower. Let's see if they can get the ball to those two guys this time.
That's very important for them to do that.
Gage Sharp to kick off for the Phantoms. Nixon steps up in the middle there, that Kecoughtan. Taking the dance class at Phoebus. That one there to.
It's Jones.
Yep.
Zeke Jones. He has room. Oh, good tackle.
What a tackle out there.
By number 34, that's Kareem Wilson, the 5'11 junior.
Well,
backup linebacker.
You know, when you're a Phoebus Phantom and you're not a senior and not a starter, you got to find a place to play, and that's how you show it right there. And we talked to Coach Blunt before the game about his special teams. He's as proud of the special teams at Phoebus as he's proud of any other part. He
Absolutely.
reminds me a lot of Frank Beamer at Tech when he talks about his special teams. Very proud, very well coached group.
Beamer ball.
So 1st and 10 for the Warriors here from their own 38-yard line.
Like Jackson's in the shotgun. Melvin fakes to Melvin, then goes to, looks like Grandy, or is that Karan? That's Karan Nixon, I think. Yes, it is. Karan Nixon on the run.
Just a little slow to Nixon. And he is tackle there, picks up 1. 2nd and 9. A little slow developing that time. And of course, when you have the Phoebus line rushing, everything looks like it's slow developing. But that time, just a little bit. Now, Melvin had no chance, so you had to go to Nixon. Here come the Warriors.
Jackson, the young sophomore, got the start tonight.
Talks to Jonathan Melvin on his left-hand side.
Going back to pass. Pass is complete, incomplete. He was looking for Nixon in the middle of that zone, and he just wasn't able to hang on to it.
You know, it reminded me on that throw like a baseball pitcher who's trying to spot it more than just throw it. And he tried to spot it in there instead of just trusting his arm and throwing it. I'm impressed with the arm speed, but he's got to have some confidence, and hopefully as the game builds for Kecoughtan, he'll be able to develop some of that confidence.
And Nixon was open.
He was. And good line play that time.
Yes,
he had
was,
time.
absolutely.
He did, maybe had just a few seconds too many because he thought about it too much.
Jackson again in the shotgun. Like Nixon is going to throw again, and that's intercepted by number 8, Jaquandre Edwards. The Kecoughtan transfer will get in for the touchdown.
Well,
Threw it right to him, Frank, and a late flag comes down.
I'm surprised the flag wasn't on the hit on the quarterback. There's a flag back up here right where the quarterback was laying. Jackson was caught by the neck and brought down. And I thought the referee was going to throw the flag. He didn't.
Sideline warning.
A sideline warning.
Results of the plays.
We talked about this before.
Yeah, I just think it's a waste of a flag and throws everybody off. But that time, good defensive work. You know, I was wondering, we were talking to Coach Blunt earlier this week, and he was telling me these magnificent numbers of interceptions, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm not sure I buy all this.
Okay.
And yet that's 2 tonight.
Oh.
Jackson brought down hard, by the way, on that play and walked off slowly. They're going to kick it?
They're going to kick it, which...
Well, Cade Sharp, this is how Cade Sharp gets sharp. You just put him out there, and he's got the distance. He's got the leg. Andre Jackson holding.
They're going to go for this, and it is good.
That was good. So the Phantoms put the 27th point on the board. They lead at 27-0 with 9:26 to go in the second quarter. And Jackson, as he took a big hit on that play. I am surprised that the referee didn't throw the flag. You'll see him right here at the end.
Here's the interception.
And it's
great
just a clear
pressure.
shot. And what you couldn't see is he grabbed him by the collar and threw him down. Meanwhile,
And
on the other side of the
look
field.
Look at the blocks he has going into the end zone.
Well, they almost had to pick numbers to who's going to intercept that pass.
Well, watch the,
here it is.
watch
Here,
the
you
pressure.
watch
Oh,
right on his
yeah.
head, and then he's grabbed by the helmet and brought down. And I'm surprised the call's not made. As much as they have protected the football players,
Right.
and they should, no call that time.
Well,
So Phantoms with a 27-0 lead, Wu Bay.
I'm not going to say this is what I expected, but you know, it's pretty impressive with from Phoebus tonight. Little swift kick. It's picked up by Grandy. Grandy fumbles the ball, and it looks like Phoebus might have recovered.
It also looked like he was down, but let's see. The side judge on that side was not exactly with the play.
I think Grandy kind of hesitated a little bit to go through the hole.
Well, I think you waited for the hole to develop. I've learned not to question Keith Grandy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it is a fumble, and the Phantoms are going to pick it up.
Huge turnover, Frank. Huge turnover.
Yeah, very disappointing for the Warriors. But the Phoebus defense, special teams just don't let up. So that's what? Two return for a kick. For a
3
touchdown
turnovers.
and 3 turnovers.
Yeah, 2 interceptions and a fumble. So Phoebus gets the ball in Kecoughtan territory.
And out comes still a different set in the back.
Well, when you're
Right.
a young quarterback and you have your defense turning the ball over and your special teams turning the ball over, it makes your job a whole lot easier, Frank. It was Rodgers with Daniel Wright single back. He's going to fake to Wright. He's going to throw. He's going to go to Andre
Beautiful
Jackson's
pass.
wide open, and he scores a touchdown, Frank. It's second of the night. Another flag on the play.
Beautiful pass. Great arm. Good view of Zymir Rogers' arm, but something in the middle there. Thrown by the field judge. The back judge, excuse me.
Looks like it's the way. Looks like it's going to be the touchdown is going to be good. Looks like it's going to be a flag on Kecoughtan. Great throw, Frank.
It
to
was
their
a
playmaker,
beautiful
Andre
though. That's
Jackson.
what you expect out of the 6'4" quarterback. Is he really let that one go?
There's a hold on Kecoughtan. Of course,
Decline.
they're going to decline it.
Out comes Cade Sharp. Continue to practice. A one-play drive there.
Holding on the defense. 10-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. Results of the play is touchdown.
So the first play
After the fumble.
after the fumble is a touchdown by Andre Jackson from Zymir Rogers.
So 2 touchdowns in about 15 seconds for the Phantom. Holder
Jackson.
is Jackson.
Kick is up, and
It is a work in progress, but he's getting better. Sharp again with the extra point. 34-0 Phoebus Phantoms, 9:07 to go here in the second quarter.
Whoa.
Here's a replay. Watch Rogers' arm. What a great block there on the line and just a sharp throw down.
Great throw. Great throw.
And I believe that was number 21, Diego Boykin, who's had a mixed night tonight. That time he turned at the wrong time and the throw's over his head.
And again, the play action, you have to respect Daniel Wright because of the night he's having so far. They sucked into the run, and then Jackson was wide open.
No question, you got to respect him. And that time, just the defensive back lost it. So the penalty is taken on the kicks. A questionable. They walk it off from the 50, which is unusual. Somebody's got to add up.
Yeah.
First singer's down there telling them, nope, start back where the X is. Now he's going to start the 50 again, go the other way. So now they're going to get it right here. They're going to start at the 50-yard line, but that's where they should end up, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
10 from the 40, so a little bit of confusion. Which Van Dyke. There.
Looks like
Another kicker.
Sharp does the extra points, and
It's going to be another kicker. Number 12, is this Fleming? Hard to see those numbers again in person, but it looks like Daquan Fleming. Straight on kicker. Yeah, he did talk about having a straight on kicker.
It's bobbled by Grandy. He needs to pick it up. He does. He breaks the tackle. He has a sideline, Frank. He could.
Yeah,
and he cuts inside.
Good block there.
And he's going to get tackled. I thought he was going to take it, but he is at the 45.
Well, as I mentioned, Keith Grandy knows when to wait. That time probably not intentional, but he's
you're
done
right.
the most. He made the most out of what he's got. Grandy, who is proved to be the one that's shown the life tonight.
I got a little too excited. I thought he was going to take it down the sideline, but he cut up inside.
Well, I think it was maybe a rider that came over to try to cut it off. But the ball, he's tackled at the 46. Great return by Grandy. Now the question is, will we see Grandy just literally start taking the snap?
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to go out the right. Jackson back in at quarterback.
Shotgun. 4 receivers far side. He's looking at Grandy, just like you said, Frank.
Grandy
He's
has no
going to get
place to go.
tackled in the backfield.
No place to go for Grandy that time. Awkward tackle. He's on the ground still, but I think hopefully he's going to hop up.
Come on, get up. He's fine.
Yeah, a little awkward as he turned around. Grandy is another guy we're going to see on Saturdays.
Oh, for sure.
An exciting player, and they're just trying to get him the ball any way they can. Second in about 16 for the Warriors. One thing about the stats, they don't show you the heart. Coach Blunt. Watch him on the sideline, but they don't show you the heart of these players. And Grandy may have negative yards, but he has added all the offense Kecoughtan has tonight.
Absolutely.
So Jackson in with Grandy on his right. And here comes Keith Grandy in one eye.
Yeah. A host of phantoms. They know he's getting the ball, so they're just going to stack the line. Single coverage outside.
Well, we're going to see Coach Coley do something with that fact, too. We may see a fake to Grandy a couple times and a throw down the side. Persinger, he's thrown to Persinger twice already.
He had that big play last week against Bethel.
Yep, and one time he was flat out held.
Yes.
And blocked off the pass. We'll see what Coley does. Jackson with Melvin. It looks like Skylar Wilson.
Skylar Wilson's the fullback. Jackson under center.
Wilson, little fella, 6'2", 235.
Just a little. Jackson. Gonna pass again. This one is up, and it is caught by Grandy. What a play. What a play. And he's pushed out by Jonathan Gregory at around the 2-yard line.
And Gregory probably the only guy on the field that could catch him. Gregory.
What a play.
That's just Keith Grandy at his best. Good pass from Jackson. A lot of confidence in your receiver, and Grandy goes up and gets it and is able to bring it down. Peyton Ryder doing a lot of talking to Grandy. That's the third or fourth time I've seen him talk to Grandy, but Grandy blew right by Phoebus.
As you said, great pass.
And he reaches up and makes the play.
Oh, great closing speed by Jonathan Gregory to knock him out to save a touchdown.
Shadarius Horn, the victim of Grandy's great play. And time called by Phoebus, I believe, because they're down to one timeout, a piece left.
You know, just like last week when Bethel jumped out to a big lead, Kecoughtan found a way to they found ways to come back and at least stay respectable in the game.
Well, the good news for Kecoughtan fans is they found it before the end of the third quarter.
Right.
Because last week, I think if they had found this little bit of offense in the second quarter, that game would have been a tight ball game.
Absolutely, yep, you're right.
But they were down 35-0 at the time they scored last week. So this time they're down 34. It looks very similar.
It does.
But it's a big difference between 35 and 34. The rule here in the Virginia High School League, if you're up more than 35, you get that running clock. And that may be second half.
Yeah.
But it's still mentally, the 35 number is a big number.
Absolutely. Well, it'll be first and goal from the 3, Frank, for Kecoughtan. Let's see if they can get some points out of this drive after a great play by Keith Grandy. And we've been talking all game how to get him involved. And
Melvin under center now for the Warriors. And 3 in the backfield. That's Wilson.
It goes to Karan Nixon, who is stopped. It looks like around the 1.
And that's the guy I would give to over to Ryder still with a lot of after the whistle contact there, that time on Persinger. But that's, again, Nixon's a big back and running behind Skylar Wilson. That's not a bad play. We'll probably see it again. All down to
looks like around the 1-yard line.
There's Wilson, number 6. Nixon, number 7, and just goes right in the pile. So second and goal.
Second and goal from the 2.
Same the offensive lineup. Wilson with Nixon deep in the backfield.
Quarterback keeper by Melvin, and he stopped. I don't think he got a yard out of that.
And falling right over Mitchell. Warriors creep it maybe a few inches closer.
Looks like he got maybe a yard. So it's going to be third and goal from the 1.
More big bodies for the backfield for Kecoughtan. Coach Coley's going to get his players to try to push it over. Mitchell comes to the ball.
Wilson, Persinger, and looks like Karan Nixon are in the backfield. Officials timeout.
Time called as they adjust a helmet on one of the defensive backs for the Phantom. Kecoughtan can get it lined up how they want. Melvin at the quarterback.
Melvin trying to drown Phoebus offsides, and Nixon gets in the end zone for a touchdown for Kecoughtan. Something they really needed, Frank, in this first half.
Well, that's a nice offensive lineup when you got a veteran like Karan Nixon.
Again, this drive was keyed by Keith Grandy's long reception.
So in the backfield that time, you had Persinger at 215. He's the light one. Nixon at 225 and Wilson at 235. 6, 7, and 8
yes.
for Kecoughtan. Now number 81.
Reese Robinson.
He slips, but still kicks it through, it looks like.
That's good.
So the Warriors get on the board. A couple big plays by Keith Grandy.
Yep.
Remember how this drive started with Grandy fumbling the kickoff and bringing it back 40 yards, then making the great play down the sideline to catch the pass over top of Horn and bring it down, and he would have scored but for the athleticism of Jonathan Gregory.
Absolutely.
And then just 3 strong runs up the middle with some big guys in the backfield for the Warriors. Put it across a big drive for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
It was huge, especially before the half. So, I mean, they get a little momentum, and if they can get a turnover again like they did earlier in the quarter, then we can see maybe they can score another touchdown before the half.
34-7, 5:35 to go in the second quarter. We've seen seems to be a whole game worth of football here in the first half.
Absolutely. We've seen, Daniel Wright, Andre Jackson both scored a pair of touchdowns. Keith Grandy did an awesome job on the special teams play and in the reception. So
and Gregory scored a touchdown as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. Well,
Gregory and Jackson.
Edwards,
Edwards, yes.
And well, Gregory did have an interception. But all the playmakers that we've talked about before the game are making plays, and that's what we anticipated.
There's Reese Robinson wearing number 81, and he kicks it about 15 yards.
And it's dangerous, and it looks like, is that Edwards?
Bobble, but
no, that was Holloway who actually made the catch on that kickoff. The fullback showing a little agility on that one, Frank.
Yeah, that was the old somebody's got to catch it, and it might as well be me. Jalen Holloway comes off, and they're going to have a meeting here with Coach Blunt, talk about the offense here.
It's like they did in baseball. I got it, you got it, huh?
But Holloway being the veteran. Jalen Holloway, 5'9", 230, and 5'9" seems a little short. Senior, he's played very well in the fullback spot.
I guess he can join the other guys at that Golden Corral buffet that we mentioned last week.
Kidding.
Rogers with Wright behind him in the backfield. Wright gets the ball, and he has another hole up the middle, Frank. He breaks a tackle. He could go all the way. He has Zeke Jones on him, and Zeke Jones saves a touchdown.
Jones
what a play by Daniel
athlete.
Wright.
Had Grandy Wright behind him. The only 2 guys who are going to catch him were right there, but not before Wright. The flag dropped back the line of scrimmage.
Now, this could be a hole. This could come back.
But my goodness, the Rodgers had that ball hung out there for about another 5 minutes. Chop block.
Chop block against Phoebus. Brings back a long run by Wright.
Well, the Kecoughtan fans, well, that explains the big hole.
Exactly.
But that time the line held, and Rodgers held the ball out like a statue, and Daniel Wright decided he'd go ahead and take it off the table and go, and he went.
With that play, Rodgers can
Chop blocked on the offense, 15-yard penalty, repeat first down.
He can keep or give it to Wright. If the defense sucks in on Wright, be a great chance for him to keep it and go on the outside.
As long as he held the ball out there, he could bronze it for all the time he had.
As you see, head coach Jeremy Blunt, who was a member of the first state championship at Phoebus.
Along with that Rob Robinson guy, wasn't he?
Yep.
And with those 2 guys on there, they won the state title.
Yeah, exactly.
With Rob holding them down. Is that what you were telling me off there?
1st and 25 from the 24 after the penalty. Rodgers under center. Nobody in the backfield this time. Goes back to pass. He has pressure, and it's short, incomplete.
And like his counterpart that time, spotting the ball a little bit. Now you can see, nice thing about Rodgers is, as tall as he is, he can look over that line, and his line had formed a nice pocket. He's able to look over top of it, but again, trying to pinpoint it in, not able to make the good pass. There's Coach Van Dyke. He's got white tape on his fingers so you can better see his signals. It's hard to miss. This obviously is a bird play. There's a coach who's quite a character. We had a great conversation with him the other day.
Yes, he is. Just telling us about all the kickers and where they've been. And
after the game, he'll be a good one to hail a cab for you.
Rodgers under center, looking over at the bench, changing the play.
With all those fingers and all that tape, he didn't get to play yet.
Phoebus is forced to call a timeout, Frank.
Timeout.
Their 3rd timeout of the half. So they lead at 34-7 with about 5:20 to go in what has seemed to be about a 45-minute second quarter.
We here at LSC show all the old vintage classic games, and if you pop this game in and said it was from 1995, you wouldn't know the difference.
You
because
would.
This is vintage Phoebus.
It is.
Running the ball with a nice big running back. solid offensive line, and the defense making plays.
Yep, and that's exactly what we expected to see. Again, we're still watching Coach Blunt. Comes in 4-0. He's played really well. This team has played really well all season, yet he's still fine-tuning these pieces and trying to get the right ones in. And, of course, it's hard to beat a guy like Holloway and guys like he and Wright in the backfield. That's going to be their bread and butter, especially as they get later in the season.
It's colder and
right.
More of a running style when it gets later on in the season.
I guess with the running back, we'll say correct.
Correct.
Not right.
Not right. You're right. Correct.
Junior Daniel Wright, 6'1", 225 behind Holloway, the senior fullback. This time
Rogers
they go left.
To right. Still moving.
Well, obviously, Daniel Wright's learned one thing, which is if he sees number 40, I'm going to go right behind him. And that time he was right off his stern. Here comes Holloway out.
Like it was a gain of 3 on the play. 3rd down.
That's a replay we want to take a look at later, is how Wright found his fullback and went right off of his stern and picked up 3 yards that really wasn't there.
Wright, single setback. Rogers fakes to Wright. He's going to pass. He sees pressure and he throws and it's complete. Looks like it's DeQuandre Edwards, excuse me. He breaks a couple tackles. He gets a 1st down. Broke 2 tackles to get that 1st down.
Well, that's excellent effort by DeQuandre Edwards, the junior 5'10", 200-pounder.
And a Kecoughtan transfer.
And he was out. He was out. It looks like we got is there a flag down? A lot of pointing towards Phoebus. The sticks have not moved. No, I don't think it's a sideline warning. I think it's a
it is a
motion.
flag. I didn't see the flag. You're right.
Or maybe a man not on the line. Coach Blunt not happy. Edwards, literally, he was in the middle, wide open so long. I saw the mailman go by and drop off some mail for him, and he was waving at Rogers.
Downfield on the offense.
They made him sign for the mail, too.
5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
That's what happens when Rogers takes as much time as he did. The lineman can't help but drift downfield. And, again, that package may have been delivered to Edwards, but it could have been for somebody else in the line. They went down and get it.
Turn to sender, I guess.
Yeah, we see him. He gets out there, and he sits in the middle and waits.
3rd and 25 for Phoebus. Right in the shotgun. I'm sorry, Rogers in the shotgun. He looks near side. He has he's going to throw it deep, and it's incomplete, intended for Andre Jackson.
And immediately Jackson looks to the sideline saying, did I run the wrong route?
I can't catch that
and
one.
I'm not sure, but that he may have run the wrong route because Coach Blunt goes to him first. Yep, he's pointing at him like you should have taken that break out and not in. So a good throw again by Rogers. This receiver may have been just off the mark.
So it'll be 4th down. Jonathan Gregory is going to be back to punt. Keith Grandy, the dangerous Keith Grandy.
It's Phoebus' first punt, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes, it is. Take a good look at Jonathan Gregory. Fakes the punt, and he is stopped. I'm not sure what he was thinking on that one, but Kecoughtan gets it in great field position.
I think if you ask Coach Blunt, he was not thinking.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
was probably should have gone ahead and punted. He may have seen something, or it may have been a called play. Gregory's so athletic.
So Kecoughtan gets it in great field position inside the 20. Looks like it's around the 15.
We're watching Gregory look over the sideline, trying to explain that. It may have been his call. Let's see.
Oh, he might have thought it was going to get blocked.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Number 25 for Kecoughtan in there was Torrey Newsom.
He came in.
We've seen Newsom recover a fumble, and we've seen him now cause Gregory to bring it down. So that's just a good defense by the Kecoughtan Warriors, and they're back at it with Jackson in the backfield.
Looks to throw. He's got Persinger, and it's going to be incomplete. No flag.
Still no flag.
As
Unbelievable.
That was on the coverage.
Great coverage. You can get away with it. That Pope with just good body positioning. Incidental contact, as I use with my air quotes.
That's right.
But good positioning out there by the defensive back leads to the incomplete pass. Jackson looks good. He's got a good arm. We've seen both quarterbacks look good.
Yeah, Melvin got in at the goal line here.
And we're going to see, you're going to see routes run wrong. You're going to see passes go the wrong spot because these guys haven't worked that much together.
Jackson in the shotgun. Fakes to Melvin, gives it to Karan Nixon, who scored the touchdown earlier, and he stopped.
Yeah, Nixon, hard runner, but he met a wall up there. Brought down right to the line of scrimmage.
It's like Marcus Tate was in on that tackle, number 32.
So nothing for Nixon on the second down. 3rd and 10 now for the Warriors.
3rd and 10 from the 15. Do you go for it here on 4th down? Is this 4-down territory?
Yes. Yes, you do. Jackson out with the play. Kecoughtan taking a little bit of time here. They got to watch that back judge. They're going to have to move it.
Melvin and Karan Nixon with Grandy, far side. Shotgun, they're looking at Grandy. He looks, and he is trying to get it to Grandy, and it's broken up.
You know, that time Grandy would have been better off if the play had been to the corner marker over there, because there was nothing for him in the middle.
Looks like Kareem Wilson was in on the stop.
Grandy looked like a pinball as he was trying to make his way through the bumpers out there. And I think a little fade to the pylon would have been the throw that time, as the defensive backs all collapse in the middle.
Yeah.
So they're going to kick. So what do we know, Ube? They're going to kick, try to put 3 on the board here. This is Robinson, Reese Robinson. Out of, what is it, Nixon's hold?
And Nixon's going to hold. It's up, and it is going to be short, no good. As Phoebus gets the ball with 2:56 left, Frank.
Well, the one thing Kecoughtan has done is slowed down the Phantom offense.
Well,
but it was nice
penalties have really killed a couple Phoebus drives the last couple times with the touchdown, the run by Wright and then the catch by Edwards were both 1st down plays, and they were brought back because of penalties.
So we see Coach Blunt talk to his offense and send him out there with instructions, try to score in 2:56. His quarterback has played pretty well so far, Zymir Rogers.
The junior.
6'3" on the list, 6'4" in person. 180 pounds.
Wright in the backfield. He gives to Wright. Pressure. Wright has another hole. Cuts up in the middle, and he's going to take it all the way. Unless Zeke Jones is going to catch him. I don't think Jones is going to catch him. He's going to score. That is a 80-yard touchdown run, but there's a flag on the play. Another flag.
Where's the flag? I don't see it.
And that's going to come back, it looks like.
Well, that time Holloway, who starts, he started on the line, just off the line, made the key block.
That's a hold on Phoebus.
We'll see if it was on Holloway. Skylar Wilson was the man blocked. You'll see it right here as, once again, Daniel Wright, being the wise running back he is, goes right behind Holloway. Look here on the arc, close in. There's Holloway's block. Oh, yeah. Block was on number 2, Avery Singleton,
yes.
and Singleton was held by Holloway that time. Explains where the corner went. So Wright getting plenty of exercise.
80 yards.
Well, no question, it's a hold.
Oh,
good
definitely
camera
a hold.
work that time.
It's 3 penalties by Phoebus.
Susan
brought
Ornette
scores.
had that pick up on the camera work. Excellent work.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
So the penalty call proves costly.
Yes, it was.
And all 5-yard penalties on
a little bit
Phoebus.
of speed from Wright.
He did.
When he got to about midfield, he broke it. And Grandy was trying to catch him.
For our fans that have listened, he was kind of Elon Lewis fast.
I was going to say that. He
but
reminds
his
me of
feet
Elon
don't
Lewis.
come off the ground very far.
Yeah.
He just kind of slides down, but he picked up speed that time. A big running back.
And Elon Lewis was a load to bring down.
Couldn't bring him down in high school. That's
Rogers under center. Gives it to Holloway, the fullback.
Speaking of lows to bring down, picks up 5. Spotting something on the sideline. He was maybe had a it's like a little adjustment on one of their starters out here on Phoebus.
We're going to have Lucas Brown at halftime, the AD from Kecoughtan High School. Going to talk about the overview of what's going on at Kecoughtan.
Good to have him up here.
Rogers fakes to Bailey. Going to pass. It is going to be incomplete.
And that time Blunt is going to get out on his receiver again. Andre Jackson is another misread by somebody, by quarterback, as that ball was right where it was supposed to be, receiver not, or vice versa. You can't criticize from up here. You don't know, but you saw Blunt jump the receiver. You'll see. Oh, I thought it was a replay there, but don't have a replay. So we're going to see. We may see a replay from Zymir Rogers. He's going to look again for his receiver, Andre Jackson.
3rd and 15.
Man-to-man coverage on Jackson.
That's right. This time he goes to Bailey, the running back, and he's tackled with a gain of maybe 3 or 4 yards.
So Kecoughtan starting to bring a little defense here toward the end of the first half. Clock running now down to about 150.
4th and 15. So this time Gregory's going to go back to punt. And let's see if he actually gets the punt off this time.
I think you say that safely. He's going to punt. Yeah, the defense knows it can get there.
Absolutely. Yes.
He hopes. Yeah.
Yes, he will punt. Hopefully this time. But credit Kecoughtan on the last punt. They got a lot of pressure up the middle to force Gregory to make that play.
Same arrangement. There's a high snap.
Gregory gets
very
it off.
nearly blocked, and a roughing the kicker.
They blew through the flag.
Yep, that time it was.
And Grandy steps away with it at the 50.
And I think that it may have been Persinger back there. Yep, roughing the kicker, personal foul. Yeah. Yep, that time Gregory got hit with his leg up. Yeah. It's either really good way to sell it, or he did have his leg up when he got hit. He's been much more in the offense than I think he usually is. Superb cornerback. You see the play
great
here.
Shot here.
And just the landing.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker.
Right on the ankle.
On the defense.
They're going to call that every time.
Yep, they are. And that time it's dangerous when you land on that ankle. So 1st and 10 for the Phantoms on the penalty. Minute 14 or left here in the second quarter.
Ball's on the 34-yard line. Phoebus might take a shot. Maybe Jackson, the deep pass. We'll see.
Daniel right in the backfield, and the play is not quite in despite tape on fingers and an animated Coach Van Dyke.
Rogers under center, right behind him. Barry Hargrave, a guy they really have been talking about as a sophomore far side. Fake to right. Rogers is looking at Hargrave, and he gets, that's Andre Jackson. He's tackled behind the line of scrimmage by number 2, Avery Singleton.
Well, Singleton and Jones and Grandy have played pretty well in the defensive backfield. That time able to stop a very good receiver. A little slow play, a little slow developing play, and Rogers had to turn around completely to get that because he's right-handed.
Absolutely.
And to get back after the fake and turn around.
Get a good look at the junior quarterback, Amari Rogers.
He was looking at their reading list on their wrist.
Changes the play, looks like right next to him. 35 seconds left. Rogers, shotgun, fakes to right. He has pressure. He gets out of the pressure. No, he doesn't. He is sacked.
Good tackle that time by Kecoughtan. That's number 88 for Kecoughtan. We've called his number before. Xavier Marshall has played very well on that line tonight. The guy that's really stood out so far.
Frank, can I say it? Another sophomore.
Yep.
We've talked about how young Kecoughtan is, and those young guys have really stepped up as the clock's going to run down.
Right here in the hour and 15-minute long first half, they've stepped up. The clock has finally ticks to 0, and the halftime here at Darling Stadium. On Friday Night Football, the Battle of Woodland Road right now led by the Phoebus Phantoms 34-7. We've seen pretty good offense from Phoebus in the first quarter, pretty good defense from Kecoughtan in the second.
Yeah, you're right. And hopefully Kecoughtan can continue that in the second half and limit Phoebus's big plays.
Well, the momentum goes in the locker room of the Warriors, but we go to the half. The Phantoms lead it by 27. We'll be back in just a few minutes with our interview here at halftime. 34-7 Phoebus. So welcome back to Darling Stadium here in Hampton, Virginia on September 23rd. The Battle of Woodland Road right now at halftime led by the Phoebus Phantoms 34-7. We have a good fortune to have Lucas Brown, the athletic director at Kecoughtan High School, with us. Lucas, thanks for joining us up here tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Tell us, this is your second year at Kecoughtan. Tell the fans a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you said, it's my second year at Kecoughtan High School. I came from Tab High School. I was there for 8 years before I came here. I graduated from college, went straight out from college to teaching at PE at Tab High School, and I started coaching football there. I was the head coach for indoor track, outdoor track, and I got to be the assistant athletic director for 7 of the 8 years, and that was a great time at Tab.
So you've been in this profession 8 years and looks as young as he does, Wube. I tell you, obviously the Kecoughtan job will gray him up a little bit.
Oh, no, I love it. It's the best job in the world.
Big school, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a big school, We got about 1,700, I think, 17-something.
Well, you're new, but you have some new coaches in the fall season. Talk a little bit about some of your fall sports.
Yeah, aside from football, all of our fall sports head coaches are brand new. We've got we hired a brand new girls volleyball coach, Melanie Lewis. She's doing a great job. We hired a new field hockey coach, Kaylee Blinko. She's doing a great job. She's only got 2 losses this year. She had a huge conference win the other night over Warwick. We're hoping for big things out of field hockey. And then we actually restarted our boys volleyball program this year. It's been absent for the last few years. Hired a coach, Brittany Christensen, and she's doing a great job with the boys. They got their very first win Wednesday night against Peninsula Catholic. And we have a brand new cheer coach, Lindsay Tibbett, who is just doing a fantastic job with the cheerleaders. And we're trying to restart the competition team because they've been absent for a few years. And the girls are doing great, and all the new coaches are doing great. So.
Well, Lucas, out of all of those reports, the volleyball result over Peninsula Catholic is a biggie, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great for our boys to get their first win. I think it was a good matchup. I think Peninsula Catholic's on a down year too, and so it was a good matchup to get with them and have a chance. We're actually going to play them again in a couple weeks for the boys. We're doing a home and away this year, and it was a good matchup, and it was a great experience for those boys. And watching them get that win was great.
Very good volleyball program up there under the guidance of John Jakowski, the athletic director up there.
Yep.
At Hampton High grad and former quarterback. At
ODU.
That's right, Old Dominion. Well, tell us a little bit about your getting to know Coach Alonzo Coley and how that's going.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Coley is a great football coach. He's a great guy. I always joke he's one of the most low maintenance football coaches I've ever been around. He does a great job with the kids. He's real organized. He communicates great. And he doesn't ask for anything that's over the top or out of this world. And I try to give him everything he asks for. So can't ask for a whole lot more than that in a head football coach. So.
And me and Frank talked about earlier on air and off air how young Kecoughtan is this year on the football field.
Yeah, we are. We're young, and we've actually had a few injuries this year that's actually made us even younger over the last few weeks. And I think that's a double-edged sword because you struggle a little bit, but at the same time, those young kids get some experience that they need and that will benefit a couple years down the road, hopefully. So.
Well, the good news for the Warriors, and we've mentioned already, is that you don't have to win every game in the Peninsula District anymore to make the playoffs. You can win 4 or 5 and make the playoffs.
That's right.
And if you're going the right way, and it looks like Kecoughtan already tonight has turned it around a little bit here in the second quarter. If you're going the right way at the end of the year, the sky's the limit as far as the playoffs go.
Oh, that's right. Last year we were 4-6 last year. We lost 4 or 5 of those games were 2 points or less, and then we went into the playoffs and knocked off we were the 7th seed going in. We knocked off number 2 Salem. So. All you got to do is make it in, and then anything can happen. So it was great last year. Great
Very
experience.
good. What can you tell us about what's going on at Kecoughtan High School? How's it going this season?
It's going good. We've got, like I said, we've got a lot of sports going on. The kids are coming out for the home events, especially the ones on campus. We've got homecoming coming up in a couple weeks. That's our Thursday night game against Warwick. We've got homecoming coming up. Our band's going to competitions. We've got everything's getting started. The school year's ramping up. So back to school night's coming up in a couple weeks. So.
We've been reminding the fans that we'd love to see you out here. This is the prettiest day of the last. It seems like whole week we've had rain. So we had this beautiful night tonight. Any idea of how we can get more of the kids to start their weekends right here at Darling Stadium during football season?
You know what? I wish we could get every single kid in the school out here. I'd love to see just school spirit across the board at every school improve. That was one area where we were really strong at Tab, where I came from, and I think it starts from the ground up with the kids. We had a class of kids come in at that school as freshmen, and they changed the whole face of that school as far as school spirit went. With the school spirit comes the attendance, and we have good school spirit at Kecoughtan. It just, the more you can improve on that and the more you can get those kids to buy in, and I mean, I'd love to see some sort of financial break for them here at the stadium, because it is tough to put that money down every week here, and if we could get anything like that, that'd be great. I'd love to see these stands filled up every weekend. So.
Well, we would too. We were talking last week. There was one that Coach Coley saying he had a night when he was the assistant coach at Phoebus where he couldn't get out that door right there at the press box because there was so many fans sitting in the stairway they couldn't get out.
I bet. And I haven't been to many. Historically, I haven't come to many Peninsula District games, but I'm sure it got filled up. I've heard the same stories about Bailey Field over there and the Kirby and Slade days and all that. So.
Well, it's been great having you up here, and anything that Wu Bei and I can do to boost any sort of program going on, we think the world of Kecoughtan High School, and I'm real pleased to see you over in that spot. We know it's a real tough job for an athletic director, but it sounds like you're off to a great start here in your second year.
Oh yeah, it's going great. Best job in the world.
And
Thanks for having me.
I know following Lee Martin is a tough act to follow.
It
too.
is, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's big shoes to fill. Lee's a great guy, though. He did a good job, and all I had to do was come in and keep it going. So.
Very good. Lucas Brown, the athletic director over at Kecoughtan High School. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's go back to the sidelines like the teams are doing. Here comes the Kecoughtan Warriors. We've got a few stats for you tonight. And we've got, let's see what we got here. Phoebus, well, let's start with Kecoughtan. 13 rushes for 2 yards and a touchdown. That was a hard-fought touchdown by Karan Nixon. Nixon with 4 carries and 3 yards and the TD. Razon Jackson, 2 for 11, 42 yards. 2 interceptions, though, for Jackson, both costly. For the Phoebus Phantoms on the ground, 18 rushes for 161 yards, 3 touchdowns. Daniel Wright, 8 for 105. Andre Jackson, 2 for 18 with a TD. And Jalen Holloway, 2 for 15 with a TD. All 3 backs. For Phoebus with a TD. Passing 4 for 8 for the quarterback, Zymir Rogers. He picked up 65 yards and a touchdown. And for receiving, Andre Jackson has the 41-yard touchdown reception for Phoebus. So the scoreboard reflects the statistics. It's been all Phoebus on the scoreboard, and mostly all Phoebus in the first half, although Kecoughtan has shown some defensive life and some offensive good fortune here towards the end of the second quarter. Put themselves on the board. The ball will belong to the Phantoms here as we start the second half.
Classic Phoebus defense. Gregory and Edwards with the 2 interceptions, and the fumble on the special teams were the key plays in the first half. But like you said, Kecoughtan has a little momentum. If they would have scored at the end of the half, would have been a great plus for them. But Phoebus's defense was there to stop them. But like I said, anything can happen. This is the Peninsula District. These teams know each other. They went to school together. They grew up together. They played Little League together.
Yep.
So when you're dealing with a rivalry game, you just never know what can happen.
We're going to see.
There's the DJ.
And Phoebus always brings. It reminds me that bring your own tunes with you. Phoebus always brings the warm-up music out of his big speaker down there, and you know when the Phantoms come on the field because they crank up the music and come on. Phoebus takes the field now to receive the kickoff. Coach Van Dyke's going to direct his team which way to go as he's out there on the field. See him there with a white towel hanging out his belt, crossing the 50-yard line.
Great guy. Very good.
Well, enthusiastic beyond belief.
Yes,
keeps track of all the players. He's also a special teams wizard and a kicking specialist. And now he's going to show a little rhythm.
Dancing on the field.
The enthusiasm he brings goes right through that team. And, of course, we talked about our friend Rob Robinson, same kind of guy. Brings that spirit, that life of Phoebus High School, always with him.
At the ground level of Darling Stadium. Great night. Field looks great.
It does.
We had a lot of rain the last few days, but the great crew here at Darling Stadium.
Some school systems were shut down this week due to the rain.
Yeah, Virginia Beach canceled all their games tonight. They're playing tomorrow.
As Virginia Beach continues to play only themselves.
Yeah.
11 high schools, they play 10 games all against themselves.
That's right.
So you never know what they have, really, until they come out into the playoffs. And often
I was always skeptical of the beach schools because you just never knew how good they really were.
I remain a little skeptical. You have to prove it more than a year.
Except when they had Percy Harvin over at Lansdowne.
Yeah.
He was a good, awesome player.
Decent career.
Yeah, decent career.
Fast as lightning.
Won a state championship at Lansdowne.
Reese Robinson to kick off for the Kecoughtan Warriors here, 34-7 as we start the second half.
Another pooch kick. It's
a very fast return.
Again, we apologize for
Good
that. It's Deshaun Pope, the senior.
Yep. So Pope brings it back. You see the speed that young man has. 1st and 10 for the Phantoms from their own 49. Zymir Rogers is going to come out on the field and bring his
solid
squad.
Tonight, Frank.
Very
Very impressed with the young quarterback. Again, his first start.
Well, and I would say, I think I've been most impressed with his patience.
Right.
Because he has held the ball there a couple times where he's just been where he's supposed to be. He's also thrown the ball where it appears it's supposed to be thrown. I'm sure he and his receivers have talked a little bit during the halftime.
Rogers in motion, in the shotgun. He calls Jackson in motion and gives him the ball. And look, there's our guy, Mitchell, with the tackle with a little help with from Melvin.
Melvin kind of doing some payback there. Melvin took a beating in the first quarter.
Yes.
But he and his fellow defensive backs have been able to return the favor here, starting in the middle of the second quarter.
Get a good look at the offensive line of Phoebus.
But the Phoebus line, we mentioned them earlier. Battle Patterson wears number 55, Walters number 74, Saylor number 60, Cooper number 70, and Wilson wearing 65.
Rogers to right.
Good trip up there by number 25, Corey Newsom, whose name we've called several times.
Close to a first down.
Slowed down the back just enough. I think they may have picked up the first down on that run. They did. Daniel Wright's a tough running back.
Again, like you said earlier, he reminds me of Elin Lewis, who was a great running back for Phoebus.
You remember Lewis just forward. Not fancy,
yards.
just forward. Yeah.
2,000 yards in a season.
Right again.
Good block. And Daniel Wright gets another Phoebus first down with a great block. I'm not sure.
That block, number 34, Kareem Wilson with the block.
We've called
for
his
the
name.
Phantoms.
Looks like it's a Kecoughtan Warrior down.
Hopefully it's a cramp. I hate to see anything other than that. Block is on the far side of the screen there, but you see right over the line of scrimmage.
Oh, that was Melvin that went down. He got hurt.
Catch it in the arm there.
Midsection or arm.
So Melvin down. Melvin got the start at quarterback last week. Has been the running back tonight. He took a beating right in the first series, really, and then been laying the licks on the Phantoms. But that time, caught one either in the ribs or the ribs.
Looks like he's okay. Looks like he's okay.
Or maybe did he knock the wind out? And then that time it looked like she was getting out of the way so he could get sick at his stomach.
I think that's what it is.
He's going to be down a while. He's okay. He's ran enough. Now he's up. It is more humid than you think here at Garland Stadium tonight. We were down in the field early before the game. When the sun up, it was hot and humid. So we would take most anything after the rain we've had this week.
Yeah, I was worried about tonight after the rain we had. But again, the field looks great.
So Melvin goes off. Another injury to Kecoughtan. Melvin, sophomore. Features in the backfield.
Looks like it's Kareem Wilson is the fullback.
Right where he should be.
That's right. He is correct.
Yep.
And Wright breaks a couple tackles, and he pulls forward. Looks like for a gain of 5.
Xavier Marshall able to get in the backfield that time. First time we've seen Kecoughtan get in the backfield and slow down Wright. Wright's another one likes to get moving forward. That time able to pick up almost 5 yards. Second, just over 5 yards.
Again, very impressed with the poise of Rogers, the young quarterback. Wright in the backfield. Gives it to Kareem Wilson. It looks like he's the fullback. filling in for Holloway.
Brought down here right short, about a couple yards short of the first down marker. Mitchell at the bottom of the pile, as he so often is. Third and just a couple, Wube.
Just love the heart of Mitchell. He's all over the field, plays both ways, never stops playing. Look at that. He just goes in and gets the tackle.
And pulls him back. Coach Mitchell, our player of the game last week.
3rd and 2.
Strong performance tonight.
From the 22-yard line is Phoebus. Right. Gives it to Kareem Wilson again, and he's stopped.
Again. That time with some help. That time number 77 for the Warriors in on the tackle. Nico Thompson. Good to see Thompson out there tonight.
He's one of the best linemen on Kecoughtan. Looks like it's going to be 4th down, Frank, and they are absolutely going to go for it. Bring in some extra tight ends and fullbacks.
Holloway, yep. Comes Holloway.
A little confusion on Phoebus. They're not really sure what personnel to bring in as Kareem Wilson goes back in.
Coach Van Dyke there, right?
And still some confusion. Rogers looks at his wristband. He's calling a play. Holloway goes back in the backfield with Wright. It's 4th and 1 at the 21. They get the play off, and it goes to Wright, and Wright falls forward for the first down. Slow developing play, Frank, but they got it off.
And that time it was Xavier Marshall again on that left end this time, who had a swing at him.
And actually Holloway missed the block. He missed the block, but Wright still had enough momentum to go forward.
And Diego Boykin also missed the tackle.
Yeah.
Phoebus picks up the first down. See Coach Van Dyke showing the signs. Tape like the baseball catchers do, right on the fingers. So
we missed the dance moves though, but I guess we'll take the signs.
Just depends on the play.
Rogers under center. Wilson and Wright behind him. Fakes to Wright. He has a guy wide open in the I'm sorry, he wasn't wide open. He was looking at him. And that was intended for, I think, Jackson, number 2.
The only guy that had a chance to catch it was Grandy. It was underthrown to him. So
exactly.
Good defense by the Warriors continues as they're making Phoebus work mighty hard here in the early part of the 3rd quarter.
And Coach Coley has to love that. Playing hard, regardless of the score. I'm sure he told his guys it was 0-0 when he came out of halftime. Keep playing hard. Rogers again looking at his wristband at a play. Wilson and Wright behind him. 2nd and 10 from the 18. It goes to Wright. Wright is stopped.
Great
by number
tackle
25. That's another one of those young players on Kecoughtan.
Torrey Newsome
He's
again.
a sophomore, linebacker, 5'9", 185.
That's 4th or 5th time we've called his name tonight. Great tackle. Go right low.
Yep.
Go right low.
Especially a big running back like Wright, you have to go low on him.
They lost a couple yards that time.
Yes, Frank, it's 3rd and 12 from the 20.
I imagine we're in 4-down territory here for Phoebus, and they want to practice a field goal. Kecoughtan wants to put them in that quandary.
Fake the handoff to Wright. He's going to throw again, and it's incomplete. Not sure who he was looking for. I guess the pass was intended for Edwards. I'm not sure if Edwards ran the wrong route.
Looks to me like pass was to Jackson in the middle, and then him coming on the tight end. See who that is.
Looks like it's going to be a timeout
Fleming. No,
by
it's Jackson.
Phoebus. Yeah.
It was Corey Jackson going to the tight end, and the ball just thrown the wrong way, or the receiver broke the wrong way. We've had miscommunication again with Zymir Rogers getting the call to start tonight. He hasn't had that many times in practice to work on telling those receivers where he may want them to go on an audible play.
Yep.
The timeout called here by the Phantoms. They lead at 34-7, 7:33 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
And the Kecoughtan defense again, Frank, is like you said, making Phoebus work for it.
Well, the defensive backs have been marvelous. They have really worked hard trying to not only cover the receivers, but come up and make the tackle on Wright if he gets through the line.
Well, Keith Grandy and Zeke Jones are the defensive backs for Kecoughtan.
That's Coach Van Dyke. Now with a towel, tape, waiting for him to get a light board out there.
There's a baby at the 20-yard line.
That's Chad Robinson right there, isn't it? Tape on his fingers.
Rogers in shotgun. He's going to look to pass, and it's incomplete, right through the hands of Edwards. He was open. He was wide open, Frank. And that should have been 6.
It should have been passed just a hair behind him, but certainly in the box
Yes.
that the receiver has. And that time Edwards misses a very sharp throw from Rogers. So
Oh, yes.
4th down now.
Let's take a look at the replay. Good pocket awareness by Rogers. And, yeah, you're right. It was behind him.
Just behind him, just a hair. Coverage out there by Avery Singleton.
So Kecoughtan gets the ball to 20. 1st and 10. 7:29 left in the 3rd quarter.
They bring it to the line. Sticks man having trouble showing its 1st down. There you go, just flip it over to 1. 1st and 10.
Looks like Melvin's the quarterback now, Frank. Goes to Nixon.
Why not? Line play out there from both sides. Persinger and Peyton Ryder get tangled up. Good physical play tonight.
Yes.
Both lines really giving it to each other, and you know there's no chippiness, not a lot of. It's been a little talking, but nothing more than you expect in the Battle of Woodland Road.
Yeah, like I said, they grew up together. They know each other. Had sleepovers. I mean, they all, you're going to get a little bit of chatter, but nothing too much more than that. Melvin under center. Goes to Nixon again. He gets the ball, and he's going back to his sophomore roots, Frank, where he was a running back, and then they moved him. Oh, a little extracurricular. We just talked about it, and it looks like it's going to be a unsportsmanlike on Kecoughtan. I think I saw Nico Thompson.
Yeah, it was Thompson. That was at least animated there. Let's see what the call is. They may go both ways. Ryder may pick up one too. He's taunting over here on the right. You can see him on the screen, but the linebacker.
Unless they call a double foul. We'll see what they call here.
And the referees are they're going to get a hold of this thing quickly.
Personal foul on Kecoughtan.
Offense, personal foul on the defense, offset, 3rd down.
So what has been uncalled offset stuff has just been called but offset. So Nixon's run is going to count. And it's going to be, what about 4 yards, Wu Bei?
Yes.
And Kecoughtan showing a little progress here. Not many yards first half. And that 3 people in the backfield, 3 big guys in the backfield.
Melvin.
Wilson, fullback.
And then it looks like it's going to be a flag on the play.
Flag thrown on the Phoebus side, wasn't
Prior to the snap, encroachment
Yeah.
on the defense.
Phoebus, yeah.
it? That's going to
Still
give them the 1st down.
Yep.
Not still 3rd down. It's going to be a 1st down. So 1st and 10 on the penalty. Yep. Correction made. Phoebus now with leading in the penalty race.
Get a good look at the athletic director at Phoebus, Maurice Ward, who was gracious enough to give us all the rosters and stats that we could get this week to prepare for the game. 1st and 10 Kecoughtan. Melvin goes to Karan Nixon, runs far side, and he's tackled by a host of Phantoms.
Well, the line's giving him a little bit of surge now, and Nixon, but just by himself, pushes the pile a little bit. 5'11", 225-pound running back.
And I joked about him going back to his sophomore roots, but we remember he was a
That's
running
right.
back as a sophomore.
Outstanding running back.
And they moved him, I guess, to fullback into a tight end. He played more defense his senior year, but
You know, you mentioned getting the athletic directors to give us the rosters and the stars. I want to thank all the coaches who spend time with us as we try to just learn a little more about the young men that spend so much time working and practicing. You know, the ball game is really the pinnacle of a long week.
absolutely.
For coaches and for the players. So thanks to all the coaches that make our job so much easier. We learn so much more about these young men.
Great kids, too. Melvin goes back to pass. He's pressured, and he is complete to Grandy. Grandy makes a great catch.
His defender fell down, and Granny goes up, makes another good catch, greeted by about half the Phoebus defense. Randy and the officials telling the Phantoms to back off a little bit. They hold Grandy on the ground. You'll see, and maybe you'll see it here as he slips.
Like he almost
Defender
bumped
had
into
slipped.
Nixon.
And then Randy able to go up and make the catch. you know, he's the Wes Welker type.
Yeah.
He's going to be a very valuable asset on a college team.
It's going to be 3rd and 3 from the 39, Frank. Big third down for Kecoughtan. They need to keep momentum on this drive.
Big line. I mean, in the backfield, a big group.
Goes to Nixon. He has room. He breaks a couple tackles and slips through for a first down.
Tiptoes through the tulips, Wu Bei, and then able to pick his way up over to the 40, almost to the 45. He does get the 45. First down. That's Persinger and Skylar Wilson out in front of him.
Yeah.
So it's a formidable backfield. Melvin at 205, the lightest of the 4.
1st and 10 at the 45. 4:23 left in the 3rd quarter. Melvin goes to Nixon again. They found something here in Melvin. He fumbles the ball. Looks like Phoebus has recovered. And
Nixon upset at himself.
He had room. A good hit. I'm not sure who the hit was. We'll see on the replay. But great defense by Phoebus. They're staple for years, and they caused the turnover.
Phoebus gets fortune on this because the Kecoughtan machine's starting to move
yes,
here.
Ball
carried up high and knocked out by the helmet right there. That's number 5 of
Shadarius Horn.
Shadarius Horn, who kind of an average game until that point, but he put the hat on the ball and knocked it out, and then a little slow on Kecoughtan's response to pick it up. Phoebus able to fall on it. They get it 1st and 10 from their own 48.
Rogers in the shotgun. Phoebus have showed different looks, not the traditional look that they've been shown over years. They've had Rogers in the shotgun by himself.
Back there now.
Had Jackson in motion. They faked to Jackson. Looks Jackson. He's got players wide open. He's got number 4 wide open. Number 4 for for Phoebus is Barry Hargrave, the guy that the Phoebus Phantom coaching staff was really raving about during the week.
I wrote down my notes about Barry Hargrave. Young but good.
Yes.
Really good.
Really good.
I said it. Good. Really good.
And they said he could
have
the potential to be an All-American by the time he's a senior.
6 foot, 175-pounder, listed as a receiver and a free safety.
Oh, look at this. Oh, nice. And if he wouldn't have fell down, he might have taken it to the end zone. Jackson again in motion. This time he gives to Jackson. Great block by Bryce Bailey, and Jackson has room. He cuts inside, cuts back outside. He cuts back in, and he is going to score.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable run by
Great run by Andre Jackson.
Well, there's a reason you get him the ball, the senior.
Yes.
Able to do what he just did, and it's a disappointing result for the Kecoughtan Warriors as they give up the touchdown rather than going to get their own.
Oh, great play.
So Phoebus moves ahead 40-7.
Great play by Andre Jackson. Again, you get the ball into your playmakers' hands and get out of the way and watch them do their thing.
They've tried to do it all night, Wu Bei, to get it to Jackson, and that time that you see exactly why.
Yes.
Then comes the kicker, Cade Sharp. Oh, that's another kicker.
Actually,
isn't it?
52.
Yeah, this is the other kicker.
Anthony Wallace.
Anthony Wallace to kick, and he kicks it up and through. So they move ahead 41-7, leaving a 34-point deficit for the Warriors. So the clock will not run.
Look at this.
Look at the moves he's got.
Oh man, got two Kecoughtan Warriors that fell into each other.
Yeah, that one will go in the his video highlights.
Yeah, for sure.
Great filming up here by our camera folks. So Phoebus moves ahead 41-7, 3:44 to go into the 3rd quarter as the Phoebus Phantom cheerleaders celebrate by throwing young ladies high in the air and fortunately catching them. And I almost had to block that out. I don't want to.
Yeah.
A lot of athleticism. You know, we speak about the kids that play high school football. They show up in July. They practice in the heat. Well, these cheerleaders and these band members do the same thing.
Absolutely.
And we saw there was a new cheer coach for Phoebus, and she obviously has done a great job. They have a big crowd out here. Big crowd of cheerleaders, and the crowd seems to even be filling up a little bit here on the Phoebus.
I'm very impressed with the crowd that Phoebus brought tonight. And Bethel had a great crowd the other night, and hopefully next week. We have Bethel Hampton next week.
Oh, good.
So
always a good ball game.
A good game. A low kick.
That time rolls right past Zeke Jones.
Zeke Jones, he gets it. He's going to go backwards, though. This time he's going near side, and he's taken down at the 6-yard line.
So Zeke had a little trouble catching the ground ball, went under his glove, and he had to run to right field to pick it up, and then tries to come around the left. And
he sees about 5 phantoms in his face. So Kecoughtan again gets poor field position, and this is, well, they mark it at the 10. It looks like he was tackled at the 6, but I'm not sure why they put it at the 10. But
a little forward progress,
yes.
a little benefit there. The team trailing by 34.
Yeah.
But now the Warriors were moving the ball when Nixon fumbled it.
Yeah.
So let's see if they can go back to doing just that. You're going to have patience down 41-7, but Coach Coley has such patience. Melvin under center, I think. It is
Melvin?
Jackson out here at wide receiver. No, it's
No,
Jackson.
it's Jackson at quarterback, and it looks like it's a handoff, but Phoebus was right there. It was Skylar Wilson that got the handoff.
Very nearly handed it to Phoebus.
Yeah.
Wilson was joined in that group with 2 phantoms.
And Coach Coley is rotating quarterbacks, seems like every series.
Well, giving Jackson now a series. Let's see if he goes back to the Nixon-Wilson Persinger backfield.
They lost 2 on the play, so it's 2nd and 12 from the 8.
Not too bad given how poorly that play came together. So Razon Jackson back under center, under George Mitchell.
Sophomore. This time he's going to pass, and it's fumbled, picked up by Phoebus. He fumbles in the end zone.
Yeah, Dave Casper tossing in the end zone, and they're
And
going
it's
to
called a touchback. Oh, man. Wow.
So is Kecoughtan going to pick up about 12 yards on that?
They're asking for a safety, but
it was Phoebus that threw the ball forward. You saw the player recovered, and then he went down and he tossed it forward.
They're trying
a la Dave Casper. Let's see what the call is.
The referees are discussing what the call is.
You know, they don't have the benefit of the replay like we do, but and they're on the field. Discussion about whether it's a safety. I'm not sure it is.
They called a touchback initially on the field, so let's see if they change the call.
I think Kecoughtan would be rather angry about that. Phoebus batted it backwards. Get that on replay.
Yes.
And the referee's going to come over and explain it. Coach Blunt, I think that's what he's going to call, is that it was Phoebus that threw the ball in the end zone and therefore was responsible for going out of the end zone.
Right.
Coach Van Dyke's going to try his best. Shadarius Horn, number 5, looks on. Good view of Horn. So here's going to be the explanation. So Kecoughtan picks up the yards and maybe a first down. No, not quite a first down, but close to it.
So they don't.
And no explanation offered. So touchback, and I would say due to the fact that Phoebus had possession of the fumble, and when the first man was able to, when he was tackled, he lobbed the ball a la Dave Casper into the end zone, and he was not able to fall on it.
Let's take a look at the replay here. As you see,
so the fumble's back there. The ball is out.
Horn picks
Phoebus
it up.
picks it up. See, he throws it in.
No, that was actually Battle who picked it up, and it looks like Phoebus had it.
Yes, it was Phoebus's number 55,
Kecoughtan
Battle Patterson.
Yes.
He had it, and when he's going down, he's the one that lobbed it into the end zone and then out of the end zone.
Looks like he was trying to reach for the goal line and kind of threw it in the end zone.
Well, he let it go so his teammate could fall on it, and he just threw it a little far, and it rolled as a football tends to do when you don't want it to do. It rolled a little farther than he thought. So it's a touchback. Ball belongs to Kecoughtan on the 21st and 10 for the Warriors. I think a good call by the officials on that play. I know that a lot of talk up here in the booth, they disagree.
Yeah.
But you see him go down, and it must, now if he still has possession when his knees touch, he's down. But that time, he clearly threw it in, and it just rolled out the back. So Kecoughtan benefits. So 1st and 10 Kecoughtan is the explanation being passed around out here. The same as Wube and I have deciphered.
Well, anyway, it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 20 from with 2:39 left in the third quarter.
Jackson.
Passes to Grandy, near side, and there's Kecoughtan's secondary all on it. Don't even think he got back to the line of scrimmage, Frank.
No, he did not. In fact, the longer he waited, the more Phantoms jumped on him. But Grandy pops up, as he does.
Gotta love the competitive nature in Keith Grandy.
Yeah, that Grandy out there staring down is Andrew McKenzie for the Phoebus Phantoms in his face. People may know each other.
2nd and 10 now.
Just 2nd and 11.
2nd and
sadly.
11, you're right, yeah, lost the yard.
Again, Grandy, he may have negative, well, he did have the one drive where he made the nice catch, but he has done well tonight. The
Yes.
numbers may not show it. 2nd and 11. Nixon in motion.
Pass is
Lobbed out
and
to.
it's picked off, and that's Barry Hargrave from what I could. Is that Barry Hargrave?
It looks like number 4. No, number 5. Darius Horn.
No, that's. Oh,
Horn.
Deshaun Pope.
Deshaun Pope, number
We
9.
apologize. The numbers are hard to read, but it's Deshaun Pope, the senior.
Well, the ball that time just lobbed up in the air, kind of a jump ball, and
And you remember how Coach Blunt was raving about his secondary.
yep.
He's
And
really.
little Pope got great position.
Oh,
He's going to be a
great
good
play.
rebounder if he
Yes.
plays basketball. He's able to get in front of Grandy. Nothing Grandy could do about that.
No, that's just a great play by Pope.
So on the 3rd interception there for the Phantoms on the night.
And he wasn't. Coach Blunt wasn't bragging or boasting or sticking his chest out. He was just saying, "Hey, in my opinion, I think my secondary is the best in the state of Virginia." And I wouldn't argue with him after
No,
tonight. I mean,
I
they
can't.
played a solid game.
I couldn't believe the 8 interception by
Yeah.
Gregory.
Yeah.
Now I can believe it. 1st and 10 for the Phantoms from the Kecoughtan 40.
Rogers under center. Fakes to Bailey. He's going to go deep. And it's
Caught
intercepted.
by Grandy.
Grandy with a one-handed interception. What a play.
Man,
What a play.
Grandy gives a high five to one of the Phoebus fans down there.
He just admiring the play.
Yeah, that was a terrific defensive play. So we've seen 2 good defensive
Yes,
plays
we have.
by 2 seniors, resulting in the exchange. How did Kecoughtan do on the exchange there, Wube?
I think they did great.
They may have lost a few yards net, but they get the ball back.
I think you're right. I think they might have lost maybe 6 yards, but what a play by Grandy.
One-handed catch.
And these last 2 weeks, he's really been impressive. Yeah,
So-
I think so. They lost 6 yards on the exchange there, Frank.
A trade that Coach Coley will take at this point, get the ball back and see if he can't put something together in the offense here. They're going to go and talk about it in the sidelines. Timeout, official timeout. Oh, charge to Kecoughtan. So timeout, the team's going to go to the sideline. 41-7 with 2:12 to go in the 3rd quarter. Well, that's an interesting exchange. We've seen some great athleticism.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And we've seen some mistakes from the young quarterbacks.
Yes.
But you're going to have to expect that. Well, both these teams trying to find that right signal caller.
As again, Rogers is stepping in for the usual starter, McNair, who's not playing tonight.
Isaiah McNair, 5'10", 165-pounder, has played very well. Comes in with a 4-0 record. He was injured last week.
Yes.
Was it last week, 2 weeks
Against
ago?
Warwick. Yeah, last week against
yeah.
Warwick, yeah.
So out comes Kecoughtan. And see if they can't move the ball. They were moving the ball before the fumble by Nixon up near midfield and then the interception. See if they can keep that going.
All right.
Defense.
They're going back with Jackson at quarterback. He's in the shotgun. As the offensive line is still coming in.
Yep. Big number Samaj Harris, 6'3", 315. You got to give Samaj time to get out there.
Nixon in motion. He's looking that way. And it's actually complete to the number 13. That's Tajay Hedgepath.
It's like Damian Charity on the tackle for the Phantoms.
A 5-yard gain. So it'd be 2nd and 5 from the, looks like from the 19-yard line.
Well, good quick play, good
Yes.
quick throw. 5-yard pickup on 1st down, nothing to shake a stick at. Down 41-7. You're just looking for, you're developing for next week.
Anything. Jackson in shotgun. Nixon again in motion. This time he gives it to Melvin, who's the running back, and he cuts it up and he gets a 1st down.
Good play by Melvin.
I've been impressed with him at running back tonight.
Well, he certainly took some hard hits early, but he has sure come back from that. Jonathan Melvin, a sophomore, 6'1", 205-pounder. You see him here, finds the hole right behind big Samaj Harris. And able to get up and pick up the first down. Ball on the 27-yard line now of the Warriors. And they're moving the ball again.
Yep, 1st and 10 from the 28. 1:17 left in the third quarter.
Patience.
Patience is
Coach
the key.
Coley. Patience.
Nixon again in motion. Oh, he's quarterback fumbles the ball. Jackson, he recovers it. Whoa, the third time he's fumbled the ball tonight.
And you could say it's an incomplete pass to himself.
Yeah.
But that time tried to pull it back and dropped it on trying to pull it back in. Well, Jackson shouldn't got to shake it off. Razan Jackson, 6'4", 165-pound sophomore quarterback, learning a lot tonight. But Coach Coley's going to give him time to learn.
And we've seen all three quarterbacks play tonight. Melvin, Jackson, they both played quarterback. Even seen Grandy back there taking a few snaps in the backfield.
He didn't even get Grandy the ball.
Nixon again in motion, this time near side. Here, Persinger. Jackson with the pass, and it's incomplete, intended for Keith Grandy.
Nixon was so wide open, he could have shot a flare gun up to tell him. And that's just the sophomore quarterback being a little rushed and not looking to his right, because Nixon was wide open. And I'm sure who saw that was Coach Blunt of Phoebus.
I'm sure.
Big number 74 for the Phantoms comes off. Deontay Walters, 6 foot, 315 pounds. None of these players have what my father would call the Miss Meal colic. You got to compliment the cafeteria staff again.
Haven't missed many of them. 3rd and 15 to 22. Nixon again in motion near side. Jackson looks to pass, and it's picked off.
Like number 7.
Looks like it's number 7. That's Darryl Bryant. And it's going to be tackled at the goal line.
Yep. Well, a left-handed toss from Jackson, and it looked like just a little bit rushed, and nobody over there for the Warriors.
I guess he was looking at Grandy. I'm not sure. He was
looking at, was it 13? Maybe Tajay Hedgepath. But
and Melvin takes another shot going for a tackle when his helmet
Melvin
comes off.
Frustrated there.
Yeah.
So 1st and goal from the 3 for the Phantoms. Disappointing for Kecoughtan. That time again, the right side wide open for Jackson, but he's looking left all the way, and the Phantoms know it.
Yep.
They overloaded that side.
Another interception for Phoebus.
Looks like the Holloway Wright machine right here. And
fumble snap.
Fumble snap. He picks it up.
Picks it up, and they call it. He's down, and just another case of being a young team, a young quarterback.
Maybe a little anxious to get the ball to Holloway or to Wright.
And that's going to end the third quarter. 41-7 Phoebus, and they are threatening for more points as we head to the fourth quarter.
Well, you see the Phantoms raise their 4 fingers as they had throughout their tradition, their last 20 years. Kecoughtan showing some good offense at times. It's a little rushed on the pass.
Yes.
So, I think Coach Coley, like last week, is going to be able to come away from this week and see some positives here.
Well, I mean, Phoebus is on a mission.
Right.
After what happened last year in the playoffs, they felt like they should have won the state championship, as they do every year. So when you have a team that's senior-laden, confident, and on a mission, they're tough to beat. I mean, Phoebus has shown why they're one of the best teams in their division in 3A. Defense, Daniel Wright's been all over the field. The young quarterback showed promise, and they're putting it all together. It's early. It's only the 4th game in, but you can see the signs of them being a good team going on in the season.
Oh yeah, and I think again, under the radar may have been overstated there. I think mainly only because they hadn't been on TV yet and they hadn't played a game. They hadn't played many well-attended games at Darling up to that point. Maybe only one out of those first 3 when that article came out.
Bethel, right. And look at this.
The Phoebus team always comes on the fourth quarter, regardless of score. They come on strong. They raise the four fingers, and this is what they play for. Let's see how Kecoughtan responds. A couple disappointing drives there in the third quarter.
See the band getting into it. Rogers goes to Holloway. Oh, Holloway fumbles
He
the
fumbled the ball.
And Rogers picks it up, and he's going to go in for the touchdown.
My
Oh,
goodness.
wow. I don't know if it's a touchdown, Frank, but however you get it, you take it.
So the fumble-Ruski, inadvertent fumble-Ruski play. That time the ball goes down. Rogers able to pick it up and run it in. So the young quarterback gets a touchdown on it with his legs.
And you have to admire the young quarterback. I mean, a lot of young quarterbacks would have froze, maybe dove on the ball. He picks it up, and he's looking to score a touchdown.
So is this the new kicker, though? It's hard to see.
Anthony Wallace.
Wallace in the kick. Or
Oh,
Phoebus.
high snap. Jackson gets it, and he gets a good hold, and it's good.
Yep.
So after Sharp missed a couple extra points, they bring in Wallace, and Wallace has made the last 2 extra points.
Well, we're having a hard time seeing these numbers.
Yes, we do. And with it 48-7, Frank.
48-7.
On the kickoff, I think the clock will start running.
Yep.
You see the play here, Frank. Rogers drops the ball. He actually
Ball,
gave it to
Holloway.
Holloway. Holloway drops it.
Yep. And then
They think he
Rogers-
still has it, and Rogers, great instincts, picks it up, and he scores the touchdown.
So 48-7 in a game that's really been a little closer, at least since the middle of the second quarter.
I agree.
But Phoebus, although not real smooth and certainly not something that Coach Blunt is going to be happy with, plays consistently. The defense keeps them
Defense is
on
gonna,
top. And
I think the defense is going to keep them in games all year. Great, solid defense.
Persinger drops back for Kecoughtan there off the line. And
So it looks like Phoebus has 3 kickers on the roster.
the ground ball
Oh,
off
that
the
was
hand.
touch.
That's dangerous. Yep, they're just going to fall, and that's Nixon that falls on it. So there's a Phoebus Phantom, who's got to be the toughest guy on the field tonight.
Oh, yeah.
He's basically wearing a cold suit to protect him from the winter. The Phantom
And he does a
showing a little bit of athleticism himself, but just staying upright. Got to get him some Gatorade throughout the game. It's hot in that suit.
It is.
But again, another high school kid who's been practicing and working and getting ready for what is just the pinnacle of the week, the ball game itself.
That's right.
Here comes Kecoughtan. Jackson under center again. Raison Jackson, number 17, the sophomore.
Yeah.
Persinger, Wilson.
Persinger and Nixon right in the backfield.
Big
Go
three.
to Nixon.
That time I'm not sure what the play was, because Wilson goes left and there's nobody to block. And the running back, Nixon, goes right behind Persinger. They pick up absolutely nothing. 2nd and 10. Phoebus line has been solid tonight. We've seen a couple of gaps caused by some really good line play and some good full blocks from the fullbacks. So it's Wilson, Skylar Wilson, and Nathan Persinger.
Oh. Jackson's going to pass. He sees his favorite target, Grandy.
I'm not sure he saw him. He just threw it to the spot, and Grandy having to fight his way through a double team. This way we see a rollout to the left side this time by Nixon. As we saw in that last quarter, Nixon would be wide open going the other side of Grandy. Let's see if Coach Kohler can call the play and give Jackson a chance to find the receiver on the other side.
48-7 Phoebus as the clock is rolling in the fourth quarter.
And the big difference is on an incomplete pass, the clock
keep
rolling
rolling,
right now that they're
That
up
is a big
35 or more.
Jackson to Karan Nixon. He's tackled. Phoebus defensive line, like you alluded to, Frank, is all over the ball.
But the linebacker, Peyton Ryder, up to stop the lead blocker, Wilson. Those two have met head-to-head several times tonight. That time, Ryder able to hold Wilson up, and then everything else just stopped at the line of scrimmage. 4th and 9, and Grandy in this time to punt.
There's Andre Jackson and Deshaun Pope deep to receive the punt.
Ryder goes back on. Peyton Ryder there, number 42. Now he comes off.
He doesn't know. Oh, low snap. Grandy has to try to get off. He's going to try to run for it, and he kicks it anyway. Great instincts by Keith Grandy.
No roughing the punter on that one because
he was already past the line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah, no, he wasn't past the line of scrimmage, but he was in the process of running when they was starting to tackle him. No flag. Grandy can't believe it. But I think once he starts to run, he's a runner.
And again, like we talked about earlier, when you have an athlete as a punter,
yep,
or anytime you have an athlete anywhere on the field, he's liable to do special things. And Grandy actually could have tried to run for the first down, even though it was a long way to go. But you see, he still got the punt off, being athletic.
Well, here come the Phoebus Phantoms, leading it by 41 points. We'll see if Coach Blunt goes to any backups. He doesn't. He's got Rogers back out there. He's got Peyton Ryder in the backfield, and looks like number 28 at tailback.
It's like 20, Bryce Bailey.
Is it 20, Bailey?
Looks like it's 20.
Okay, with Ryder in front of him.
And Ryder, of course, was the fullback his freshman year. Rogers fumbles the snap again. Looks like Kecoughtan fell on it.
So Samir Rogers having trouble with the snap there.
That's number 99.
Pulling out from underneath the center a little early.
Lee Beeman, another sophomore, standout for Kecoughtan, falls on the fumble, and it's Kecoughtan's ball at the 45-yard line.
The only people that move are the sticks, as most of the players stay. So we're going to see some young men probably get a chance here for Phoebus.
Yes. Again, the clock is still rolling because of the 48-7 score.
Juan Purdy, number 84, comes in the game. One I did catch coming in.
It's like 25 is in Edward Bird. He's a senior, 5'9", 165 is in there.
Joshua Austin, a freshman, 6'1", 200-pounder. He gets his first playing time tonight. He's at the left defensive end. Same three in the backfield for Kecoughtan. Jackson hands off to Nixon. That may have been that last young man we called, Joshua Austin, from his defensive end spot.
Freshman.
Coming around the end.
Freshman, huh?
84, Juan Purdy in. Number 89, as we said, Austin. So some new faces. Number 65 hustles in now for the Phantoms.
Second and 9.
No receivers out.
Goes to Nixon. He's getting the heavy dose of the bulk of the carries late in the fourth quarter.
Everybody in tight for Kecoughtan. And I think, I count right, they only had 10 on the offense. Here comes the 11th. Quarterback goes over and retrieves him. Either that or he was hiding out by the sticks. But there was only 10, I think, on that play. Grandy's out.
It's going to be 3rd and 11 from the 44 for Kecoughtan. 48-7 Phoebus.
Having 10 men not going to help. I noticed they didn't have any receivers at all.
Looks like Xavier Marshall just went out, and then now they're forced. Kecoughtan's forced to call a timeout.
At 6 on the line, 4 in the backfield. There's 10 players, so obviously with the removal of Grandy, it's kind of thrown off the rotation. That second play, they were going to go with 10.
See the nice crowd from the Phoebus side of things there.
Nice crowd. And you got good groups of students over there and groups of fans of Kecoughtan, just not the full stands we've seen.
And, you know, I think with the score, a lot of fans may have already left. But, you know, if they see what we see young players stepping up in big roles, and the future is bright for Kecoughtan. You know, they're gonna be a good team in a couple years. As you see, Susan Bowers' uncle.
Will there.
Walking, looks like he's walking towards the exits.
Exits or the, another one of those Chick-fil-A's, which I wouldn't mind having one.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody wants to donate one, they can always bring it up here to the booth.
Bring it on up.
Sure it will not go to waste.
Well, we had pizza earlier. So.
We did have pizza. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for telling everybody I had a piece of pizza tonight.
Sorry,
Thank you,
Frank.
Ube.
Well, now you can't go home hungry.
No,
Jackson with the pass is incomplete.
and that was to Keith Grandy over there. And I don't think Grandy had come out of the game and nobody recognized it. So they tried to go with, played one play with 10, then they played another one and got caught or had to call timeout. Now Grandy back to punt. Grandy literally a very important cog, so important that when he went out that first play, nobody came in to take his plays.
They figured he's supposed to still be on the field.
So Grandy back to punt.
Grandy gets the punt off.
Good punt this time.
That's Hargrave back there. He gets the punt. This is the guy everybody was talking about on the coaching staff. This is why they're so high on this kid, and he gets a good return.
Slowed really only by his own blocker, who was held up down there by a Kecoughtan defender. So Phoebus going to get the ball, and there's going to be
there's a flag on the play.
A flag thrown the side judge over here.
That could be a hold in the direction of a hold.
Flag came out of the side judge, didn't it? We'll go over and explain the flag.
Unsportsmanlike on Phoebus.
Yeah, this is we haven't seen too much of it, given that these guys probably came up in the same rec league.
Right.
But there's been a little bit of talking there, maybe. That may have been on talking.
Maybe.
So quick flag, going to cost Phoebus 15.
I mean, the way the clock's running, this might be the last play of the game,
right?
As long as they're taking it.
So as you can see with the flag and no action on the field, you feel like you're watching a soccer game here. And, you know, when the thing goes to zeros, you're going to hold up 4 fingers and say we got 4 more minutes to play.
Extra time, right? Injury time, as they call it.
Extra, whatever they call it. So here you go, 15-yarder on Phoebus. So they're going to get the start from their own 30 here with what I'm not even going to say the time, because by the time I say it, it's 2 seconds later.
Receiving team, first down.
The 1st and 10 for the Phantoms, and out comes a whole new offensive line. And this is it looks like the quarterback is going to be number 16 for Phoebus. This is Chris Daniels. Freshman, free safety and quarterback, 5'10", 173 pounds.
The future.
So the future comes on for both teams.
Always good to see the young talent. Daniels to Peyton Ryder, the fullback. And we've been used to seeing this back since his freshman year.
So Holloway getting a breather, Ryder in to run the ball, and he carries it up over the 35 to the 36. Good pickup by Peyton Ryder, 2nd down and 4.
Again, he's an outstanding baseball player as well, Frank. For the Phantom baseball team.
He is indeed a catcher, I believe.
Yes.
Plays. Solid young man. He's put on some weight since that first year. Now listed at 208 pounds. Solid 208.
Yes.
Here's Daniels under center.
Daniels. Time he goes to another running back out of the backfield for Phoebus. They just keep pumping out new running backs. Looks like it's number 20, Bryce Bailey.
The Baileys had some good carries tonight.
And what Coach Blunt told us earlier, that we had to look at the roster to confirm. They have juniors and sophomores and freshmen that are playing prominent roles.
Well, they're like shark's teeth. If one goes down, there's another one right behind it. I mean,
you have Wright, Bailey, they're juniors. You have Hargrave, the guy they're really high on, their receiver. He's a sophomore.
Well, as Coach Coley over at Kecoughtan would tell you, that's just a luxury that he's had before in his programs, and this doesn't have this year. So the new line brings it to the line with Daniels behind, and Peyton Ryder.
The center is Peyton Ryder's brother, Blake Ryder. He's a freshman. He's 6'1", 280.
They're very high on him.
So we have Blake Ryder and the freshman Daniels. Daniels with the fake. He's going to keep. He has room. Good block. He goes to the 50, to the 45. Stiff arm. Goes out of bounds.
That time, trying to drag him down was Kecoughtan number 13, Ty J. Hedgepath. You know, we're getting down here to 45 seconds players of the game. What do you think?
I'm going to say the whole Phoebus defense. It's hard to just single out one player. You know, Coach Blunt talked about earlier in the week about how great his secondary was, and He was right.
Yeah, since we don't have the T-shirts giveaway, I'll join you on that. I think Phoebus, the offense has played beautifully, but the defense scored, what, 2 touchdowns, maybe 3?
Yep, Edwards and I think Edwards and Bryant had interceptions.
And for Kecoughtan tonight, if we're going to go in multiples, I think I don't know who we gave it to last week. Was it Grandy?
We gave it to Mitchell, actually.
Mitchell, that's right. But Keith Grandy and Karan Nixon have played the strongest tonight. Both quarterbacks deserve a mention. I thought Zymir Rogers for the Phoebus Phantoms played a beautiful game for his first start. He gets the win 48-7 as the clock runs out. Team's going to shake hands for some of these players. Their last time to do this with their buddies from down Woodland Road. For others, the first handshake of what could be 3 more to go.
Both teams have a lot of young talent, so I'm sure we'll see these 2 teams battle for the next few years.
Well, you see the players shake hands. Coach Coley's going to be disappointed in some level. But again, even with a 48-7 loss, he's got to see some positives out of this. He's seen some players that I think he'll be able to mold, and they'll get stronger as they go through the year. They're playing what is so far has been the best team in the Peninsula District, and you can tell me Heritage and when Heritage comes into Darling Stadium, wins a game against the Phantoms, we'll give them their due.
But before then, Phoebus is the best team we've seen.
I think so.
So far, yes, they are.
Well, we want to thank our crew tonight. You know the guys, Randy Begoli,
Steve Fryer, Krista Campbell, Susan Bowers, Nathaniel Braxton, Andy Foley, Renee Camden. I hope I didn't miss anybody.
And Alan
Beaver, yes, sir.
On the field, but a great crew. They make us look good, although you can't do that really camera. But they certainly make the broadcast look great. And we're glad. We want to remind the fans, too, that they can watch these broadcasts on YouTube this year. They're up usually on Monday on YouTube. But the broadcast on Channel 48 will be starting tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock a.m., 7 o'clock p.m., and then repeated during the week.
That's right.
Check it out. Post online if you enjoy the broadcast, and if you don't, as my father would say, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. But send this camera crew compliments. When you get shots like this from Steve Fryer's on-field camera, you really can see all the work that goes in and the talent that's here to bring these games to you.
All the way up the middle.
We're going to see a lot of that this year.
So many highlights from Phoebus tonight. Really impressed with the defense. The secondary, as we talked about, Gregory and Pope and Charity all had great games tonight. I was really impressed with Zamir Rogers, even though he played in the backup, in the replacement role tonight. Very poised, and here's Jackson. I think this might be the play of the night right here.
Yep, this was the play when.
This wasn't it. This is one of the runs, yeah. But
the other run anywhere he was able to escape about 4 different times.
And there's Daniel Wright, the junior running back, who we're gonna hear about for a long time. And here's Grandy, who we had as a player of the game candidate.
Yeah, and he deservedly so. He's clearly the best athlete.
Oh, for sure.
Overall over there on the Kecoughtan side. He plays hard, but Nixon deserves credit.
Yes.
And those seniors are not going to go down without a fight.
Well,
it's the Phantom team, and you see there's some fresh faces there getting ready to look ahead. Next week, who do we got?
Hampton Bethel.
So we can see the other 2 Hampton teams next week.
Yes, and from what I understand, that rivalry has been going on for forever, too.
Oh, yeah. So
that goes back way before my time. So.
Fans, come on out.
Yes.
Come on out next week. Darling Stadium, 7 o'clock start here. Come catch a ball game with us. We look forward to seeing you here. On behalf of the crew in Wu Bay, and this is Frank Edgar signing off from Darling Stadium. Final score here, the Phoebus Phantoms 48 and the Kecoughtan Warriors 7. Good night.